Enjoy a celebration here as we come to an end of a 16th season of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. The AutoZone title fight presented by Rain-X. A celebration here at the iconic track, the House of Drift. Before we introduce you to our 16 drivers, head-to-head, mano-a-mano, here at Irwindale Speedway, the House of Drift. All right, let's introduce you to our top 16 drivers. A former champ pilot of the Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR. It is Von Gayton Jr. Next up, he is your Black Magic Award top qualifier winner. Presenting the award is Joseph Parentu, AutoZone Parts Sale Manager. Go ahead and give him that medallion, and he gets some cash in your hand. Your number one top qualifier behind the wheel of the BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR, Chelsea Denofa. There you go. Go ahead and give him that medal. There's the number one top qualifier. It is Saturday night in a grand way. Next up, the only three-time Formula Drift champion. That might change tonight. In the NOS Energy Drink, Nissan 370Z on Nexen tires, it is Chris the Force Forsberg. All right, rounding out that two-car blackout team. Again, he had a podium, he had a win earlier this year, and here he is in Irwindale. He is ready to do battle in that gum-out Toyota Racing, Toyota 86 on Nitto tires. It is Ryan Turk. Moving right along, another two-car team, but it is your two-time defending points leader right now. Can he make it a three-peat? No pressure. The man from Ireland in the Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires S15 is James the Machine Dean. As I said, a two-car team. They're known as the Candy Machine. Coming to us from Poland. He's won here before in his third season of the Formula Drift Championship. Again, no pressure to you. He is in the Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires S15. It's the Candyman, Peter Visser. More red, white, and blue. You can see that front right corner is battered and bruised, and he's ready to do battle here once again, representing and flying the Dominican Republic flag in the Jordo Metal Dam Toyota Racing, Toyota 86 on Nexen tires. It is Jonathan Castro. Moving right along, you ready to get nuts? Well, he is the lead scientist in the Get Nuts Laboratory, Yellow Speed Racing, Achilles Tire S15. It is Forrest Wade. Moving on down the line, this was a gentleman that I definitely said one to watch. He's in the Up Garage, Achilles Tire S15 from Japan. It is Kazuya Taguchi. All right, he is top four right now. Top four in the overall point standings in the Falcon Tires Field Suspension from Wrightwood, California. Make some noise for Odie Bakshi's. Another former champion in the mix. He is piloting his ESSA Autosports Achilles Tire BMW. Say hello to Michael Essa. Some more teal and blue out here on track, originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Now he's on the hotline here in Southern California. He is piloting that Roush Performance Falcon tires, Ford Mustang. It is JTP, Justin Pollock. A Formula Drift veteran, a day oneer. He is the OG. He is piloting the Gretty Performance Toyota Racing, Toyota 86 on Achilles tires. Say hello to Ken Gucci. 20-point difference between one and this man, the Norwegian Hammer. We saw the action unfold in Texas. He is fighting for the championship. He wants redemption from last year. Make some noise for him. Piling that Rockstar energy drink. Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback on Nexon tires. It is Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Asbo. Another former champ in the building. Piloting that turn 14 distribution Falcon tires, turbocharged LS Subaru BRZ. It is Slide R, Daijiro Yoshihara. Last but definitely not least, making history earlier this year, not this vehicle, but another vehicle. Piloting the first ever head-to-head battle in an electric vehicle. He's now piloting Old Red, as he calls it, in the Napoleon Motorsports turnkey motorsports vehicle on Netto tires from the PNW. It is Travis Reeder. And there are your top 16 drivers here at the AutoZone title fight presented by Rain-X. Stomp your feet once again. This is the final round of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Let's send it Irwindale. All right, well, Ryan, we have a packed house here at Irwindale Speedway, and we have the making of a great event. Ryan, what are some of the thoughts going into top 16? I mean, I had some words with Osbo, I had some words with Pieter and James Dean, but collectively, what do you think?
Well, I think before we get to that, do you mind if I take over the show for a little bit?
Please do.
I don't know if a lot of people know this.
What?
I do, though, however.
Okay.
Jared has been our announcer for 16 years.
Yeah.
Every single event, every single run, and he is celebrating a birthday today, everybody.
Right. That's
and
right.
I've got a very special, wonderfully prepared pastry for you from your beautiful wife who would bring it on camera right now. So everybody, happy birthday, Jared.
You don't need to sing the whole thing. All right, well, that's nice. No, you don't. You can't do that. Oh, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jared. Just wanted to wish you happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
Appreciate everything you do, and enjoy it.
I will. All right, thank you, guys. Happy birthday to me. Let's party. You guys ready to stand up?
All right, and we're back here at the AutoZone title fight presented by Rain-X. Our first battle up, Chelsea Denofa versus Daijiro Yoshihara. Denofa qualified number 1, had a bye run, put himself into the top 16. Daijiro Yoshihara qualified 16th, battled Matt Field in the top 32, and he made it to face Denofa right now, Jared. We're getting the tires warmed up here. This should be a good battle. The momentum seems to be in favor of Chelsea Denofa coming off of that win at Texas just a few weeks ago and continuing his performance here with the number 1 qualification.
I feel like Chelsea's vehicle is looking really loose. His setup looks really loose compared to Vaughn. His car looks tight. It just looks a little bound up. Chelsea has that that X factor, and that's why, you know, Vaughn's got to tap somebody. He's got to say, like, look, you know, I can't duplicate myself, but I can duplicate another championship with RTR and that flag being waved. But Dai Yoshihara, love the man. Love him so much. He's such a good dude. Again, just seeing him grow as a human being over the last 16 years, but then as a driver, just the attitude of his vehicle, very smooth. And Ryan, we always talk about his exhaust note and the way his car sounds is very much how Dai Yoshihara's demeanor is. So you can see the Marty McFly, I always love that, and the pizza on the steering wheel. Chelsea Denofa is definitely just a large and just a funny character and personality, and literally he has a tattoo of a knob turned to 11 on his back, and he's kind of lived that way ever since I've known him.
Yeah, my curiosity for this battle is how is Daijiro Yoshihara going to hook up relative to Chelsea Denofa in terms of the grip levels that we're seeing. This will be the first time that we've been in these conditions since practice on Thursday. And will Denofa continue his great lead runs? Let's get it going.
Yeah, earlier today, people are sweating. You know, they're in tank tops and flip-flops. Now we're in sweatshirts, and we are bound up. So here we go. Chelsea Denofa, Dio Shihara. The first battle, the final round of the 2019 Formula Drip Black Magic Pro Championship, and boom goes the dynamite. Chelsea Denofa quickly gets to angle, high on the bank. Dio Shihara lacking that angle. He's going to drop down there into that front clip, on the inside clip. Dio Shihara gaining some ground down in that second outside zone. Chelsea Denofa goes hard into the wall. Risk it for the biscuit, and it bit off more than he could chew. He goes hard into the wall. Chelsea Denofa knew he needed to throw down, and the wall always wins, Ryan.
That is a tough break for Chelsea Denofa, and you have to wonder whether or not he was aware of what was going on with Dai in the chase position. Dai did not get the greatest jump from initiation. Watch, he really reduces his angle here and he may have even turned the wheels the other direction there for a second, and that'll be interesting to come into play here. But Denofa out front, the story right now goes into the wall. Dai has to make an adjustment in the chase. He also taps the wall as well. And we're starting off the top 16 with some craziness here between these two guys. Let's take a look coming from the other side of the track. There's Denofa. Dai notices that he gets on the brakes. He goes through the smoke line. As he's braking, he taps the wall and comes to a stop as well. But it was Denofa that initiated that first contact.
Yeah, and you pointed out, I was so focused on Chelsea that Dio Shihara looked like the banner kind of grabbed him and pulled him in. Here's the start. Looked like it was a clean start. And Chelsea, just take a listen. Look at that. I mean, Chelsea quickly jumped to angle, really liked his aggressive nature. Dai, I mean, lacking a lot of angle there. You wonder what is going through his head. But look at Chelsea, max angle. Like you said, he kind of questioned himself there.
Yeah, that was definitely very interesting and a bit out of the norm for Denofa, at least at this event. So Dai taking a look at his vehicle, assessing the damage overall, and obviously the judges have a decision to make here. Let's bring in Ryan Lantane. Ryan, as you guys are assessing this run, give us some insight to some of the thought process going on between the three judges.
Yeah, what we're looking at, Ryan, is, first of all, of course, Chelsea got an incomplete for hitting the wall there. That is totally on him. But was he responsible for leading Dai into the wall? Now, going even further back than that, we're going to give Dai an incomplete for straightening on the outside zone 1 area on the bank on his own. So it's essentially 2 incompletes from both drivers independently. Now, we may have to look at, is Dai, did he get led into the wall by Chelsea, and does Dai get to use kind of that as a reason to repair his car with more time? But that's something we're going to have to talk about. But at least we have established that Dai has an independent incomplete. It just comes down to repair time now, and that we'll talk about.
All right, well, thank you so much, Ryan Lantane. We are hearing that, you know, you could see that the vehicles are getting loaded up. But Lorette Nickel, the other member of our broadcast team, is down on the ground. She's with the OG Ken Gushi.
Well, he came into Irwindale real strong, qualifying in that second position. You had the bye run in top 32, but is that actually a disadvantage for you?
You know, I think a lot of drivers would agree with me that they'd rather not have the bye run and carry a really good battle momentum with that confidence moving on to the top 16. And for me personally, yeah, it feels great to finish high in qualifying and have an easy ride into the top 16, but it's always at the back of my head thinking like, oh, well, the guy that I'm going up against next has a battle under his belt with that confidence sky high, and here I am with, you know, good momentum from qualifying, but no battle yet. So, yeah, I think a lot of drivers would really agree with that we would just rather have a full field and have tandem battles from the first place finisher to 32nd place qualifier.
But Ken Gushi, you're an OG. You're ready, right?
Hell yeah, I'm ready. We're here at the House of Drift, final round, and the adrenaline is high, so I'm really excited.
Good luck tonight.
Yeah, Lorette.
Guys.
What do you got? Yeah,
just Lorette threw down the OG right there.
Yeah, dude, he's original Gucci, dude. He's gangster. Yeah, he's like, hell yeah, I'm ready. I like that. Like you don't see that kind of from Gucci.
You got a little surprise there.
Yeah. Wow, look at this, a nice packed house here as we clear the track of Ken Gucci. So I'm throw it down back to Lorette Nickel with our Formula Drift 2019 Rookie of the Year.
In his top 32 battle against Ryan Littoral during your chase run, both drivers had an incomplete run. So now we're into the top 16, and you're going against Ken Gushi. You have an opportunity to clean up your run, so how do you do that?
Yeah, so the reason I went in the wall behind Littoral is I wasn't used to kind of clutch kicking in, and I saw him clutch kick and light off, and I needed to try to maintain pace. Well, I didn't initiate as aggressively as I should, so the car was kind of shallow angle, maintaining a ton of speed, and that's why I came in super hot and followed him right into the wall. Gucci enters the same way, so I have some redemption to try to clean it up and just basically try to match the lead driver and not get kind of caught up in myself. So I get a second chance, so it's all on me, and the Napoleon guys got the car thrashed together and just as good as it was, so we're ready to jam.
Travis, thanks so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette. Congratulations, Travis Reeder. Again, 2019 FD Rookie of the Year and making history in 2019 as well. The first ever electric drift car head-to-head action in Atlanta. So hat tip to Napoleon Motorsports and Turnkey Industries and, of course, Travis Reeder. And now it's whittled down to 16 teams. So as we kick things off with Denofa and Dai and how quickly things came to a screeching halt because the wall got in the way. Either it be Chelsea Denofa or Dai Yoshihara as we advance on to our next battle. This is Odi and Taguchi.
There's a big one here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what do we look at? 60 plus points just there, just about 64 points for Odi Bakshis. I mean, if Piotr advances, there's still some opportunity there for Odi to shake things up.
Bottom line, he's got to win.
Well, of course, yeah, he's got to win. I guess that at the end of the day, he's just got to win. Here we go. The light has extinguished. The smoke sprays, and here we go. They're about to spray smoke of their own. Odi Bakshis initiates. Really high on the bank as Odi Bakshis Taguchi inching his way up towards that big bank that's claimed so many victims. Now transitioning into that front clip. That was a quick hit it and quit it there for Odi Bakshis, allowing Kazuya Taguchi to gain the ground. Look at Taguchi, dropping formation, and now tight around that final clip. Odi knocking it over. Taguchi mimicking every move he makes, every step he takes. He'll be watching you.
Well, Taguchi is not going to go into the night easy here. He's going to go fighting against Odi Bakshis, but Odi gets a great jump, establishes a little bit of a gap. Notice the difference on the bank. Odi's up a little bit higher. Kazuya trying to work his way up, but has to come down off to try to gain some proximity here. Odi just missing a little bit on that inside clip, but super deep and early into that second outside zone. Now Taguchi is able to reel him in a little bit here and does a great job through that final inside clip. So in the second half of the battle, Kazuya Taguchi looks a little bit more solid, but overall, this is a great lead run for Odi. He set a nice standard that Kazuya is going to have to try to back up of his own, and we know that Odi is a phenomenal chase driver.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, Ryan, but earlier, let's be quite honest, his chases did not, I mean, he was it Odi against Jones. Remember, he had to go one more time. I was kind of taken back by how kind of less aggressive he was in that first battle against
You're keeping it real right now.
No, I'm not. Yes, I am keeping it real because he has been a phenomenal chase driver, phenomenal this whole year, and then you got to
bring your A game.
Bring your A game, Ms. Irwindale. So I am keeping it real, dude. What do you want me to keep it fake?
I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me like it is.
Look, I'm gonna tell you like it is. I mean, truth be told.
Yeah.
Here we go. Kazuya Taguchi will lead. Odi Bakshis will give chase. Taguchi through that start chicane. I love how Lantain said, interesting how nobody's knocked over that cone since there's a concrete wall there this event. Oh, there we go. That's that A game that we were talking about. But Kazuya, a phenomenal lead run. Make some noise, Irwindale. Odi Bakshis right there in the mix, transitioning through the smoke. Can he regain that proximity in the transition? Yes, he does. Whoa, Odi Bakshis. Kazuya, a little wonky there. You see him kind of disrupt, but Odi keeps the composure. Zeroed in and dialed in. Wow, great. That got a little hairball there between Taguchi.
I think he heard you, Jared. I think he heard you.
I'll find you.
That was an incredible chase run from Odi. Big wrist maneuver on initiation, drops right in, falls back for a second, locks on. Great lead run here by Kazuya Taguchi. Nice transition through the smoke line as Odi Bakshis coming up on the inside, narrowly hits Kazuya and backs off, but a beautiful save there as Taguchi angles up. Now right back in the pocket is Odi Bakshis attacking through this final section, and that last turn there, great finish by both drivers, beautifully executed in the chase and the lead position, and a really fun run to watch overall.
Look at that big VR GTR engine. Kazuya Taguchi, like I said, he was really exciting to watch overall. Come bearing gifts. Slide him right for Odie, left for Taguchi. Ryan says Odie. Oh, look at that. Brian says one more time, and Andy says Odie Bakshis. Odie gets the win, Ryan. It was a must-win for Odie Bakshis. And he did that. He, like you said, he did listen. Brian with the one more time. And there's Vaughn Gittin Jr. He's going to do some car pranks with his friends. And his friends are Chris Forsberg, Drift Alliance. These guys have been around since day one, 2004 in the Formula Drift Championship. That was the inaugural year of the championship. Here is a replay of Denofa. So this is Chelsea and Dye, as you know, the RTR camp. Two Mustangs, two very unique, but as the judges are reviewing it once again as well.
Yeah, they wanted to take a look at this before we got to this next battle, because there is a question about whether or not Dye should be awarded additional time for that incident right there, whether or not it was Chelsea leading him into the wall. Even though he did zero out before that, we do have to take into account the fact that Dye did not know that he zeroed out and that there is still a run going on there. So that is what they're reviewing. They're looking at it, and we will come with a decision here shortly. But on to the next battle. Battle of the Titans here, Jared.
Yeah, two former veterans, or sorry, two former champs and two very OG veterans. As Denofa, look at him, get in the wall, sparks fly, straightens out, pulls that banner down. I think Dai Yoshihara got thrown off, man. I mean, that gets really tough. But again, Ryan, you talked about, and the judges talked about it, Dai Yoshihara, it was an independent incident. He had an incomplete on that first outer bank. So, hey, James Watts, why don't you tune in here and watch this battle here. Jasper and James watching at home. Brandon Scarpelli, what's up, homeboy? Thanks for the shout out. Here we go. Drift Alliance battle. Chris the Force Forsberg. Vaughn Gittin Jr. Forsberg qualifying 4th. Vaughn Gittin Jr. qualifying 13th. Chris Forsberg gets the clean air first. Since 2004, they've been banging away here at the House of Drift, and here we are in 2019. Chris Forsberg, big angle there, dragging on the wall. Vaughn Gittin Jr., a little less angle, but definitely has the proximity. Is he going to gain some ground here in the second outer zone? Forsberg initiates into that second outer zone. Vaughn Gittin Jr. keeps his composure. Really good job by both these guys around that final front flip and into that outer zone. Coming up just a bit short are both the drivers, but man, what a great way to begin this battle, Ryan.
Well, remember, Vaughn Gittin Jr. was clearly the most dominant driver last year. 2-1 more times with Frederick Osbo. Let's see how he takes on the 3-time champ Chris Forsberg, who does a great job on the bank. A little bit of wavering there from Vaughn, narrowly hitting each other as they transition through that inside clip. Now Vaughn attacking on the inside, but here goes Forsberg deep into that second outside zone, bouncing off the wall as Vaughn Gittin tries to attack one last time. Forsberg comes up a little bit short on that final outside zone. Let's take a look here on the big bank, Jared. You can see that reduction in angle from Vaughn. Both drivers pushing super hard, and there they were so close on that transition before inside clip number 1. So now the judges have seen the first lap. Let's switch it up. Put Vaughn to the lead and Chris Forsberg to the chase.
Man, sparks are being thrown up out there in that second outer zone. Unbelievable. And just the footage that Johnny FPV, you can see that drone in tow. Vaughn Gittin Jr. will now lead. Chris Forsberg will give chase. Again, just knowing these gentlemen since 2004, seeing their careers grow, traveling the world, making content and drifting, just back in the day of 04, 05, 06, it's a fad and what's going on. And now you see, you go to something like the SEMA show, you see these guys on large banners, you see them supported by manufacturers, energy drinks from Monster Energy and Austin Energy Drink. Here we go, the second half of this battle. Vaughn Gittin Jr., Monster Energy, Nitto Tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR. Here we go. Vaughn Gittin Jr. throws it in, dropped down quite a bit, about middle of the bank. Chris Forsberg keeps a pace. Now past that inside clip. Whoa, buddy! Chris Forsberg goes into the wall. As Vaughn Gittin Jr. finishes out the entirety of the course, Forsberg and that second outer zone now claims another victim. So, Ryan, you have to think. The sun has set, it's colder. I mean, you've been iced for quite some time with that halftime break. Let's look at it.
Well, this looked like it was leaning towards the direction of Chris Forsberg after that first run. And again, too, Vaughn was midline on the bank. Forsberg transitions through the smoke cloud. Now watch here, he's kind of high up on the transition, and the back end just rubs the beginning part of outside zone 2. He goes into the wall, and Vaughn finishes the run. I know the judges are going to ask for that again. Remember, there's a decel zone coming into that area. Here it is from the drone shot right here. It looks like Vaughn just a little braking there right before that last section. But it does look like Chris may have been on the wrong line a little bit high there.
Smoke. Look, he's buried in smoke.
Wow.
Woof. That car got up, man. He was hitting switches.
It has got to be incredibly difficult to see. He's right in the smoke line. He's moving forward. The momentum was already starting to carry into that direction. It looks like he really had nowhere to go.
Yeah, I mean, those Nitto tires, they're definitely a grippy tire. You could see the frustration. That says it all. Round of applause for Chris Forsberg. The attitude there, that was an emoji if I've ever seen one, like, right? Like, I don't know, Chris. All right, so we got Ryan Lontaine here. We're going to take a look at this. Don't know if we have the results coming in, but Lontaine, this course really producing some just phenomenal moments, but these guys are risking it. Here real quick before you interject. Slide them left for Vaughn Gint Jr., right for Chris Forsberg, and there you have it, Ryan and Andy. And Brian says Vaughn Gint Jr. gets the win. It is unanimous. Lontaine, down to you.
One heck of a night so far. The amount of carnage on the track here just proves how hard these drivers are pushing. Chris just positioned himself just slightly too far back. You could see that he was not on the same line as Vaughn going into outside zone 2, and there was just no way that his car was going to fit in there with that wall coming in at that speed. It probably has something to do with the smoke. It has something to do with the speed they're going through there. If you transition just a little bit later than the lead car and get positioned on a slightly different line, it can ruin your whole night, as it just did for Chris. But kudos to him for pushing as hard as he was. In my eyes, he was looking really strong there until that hit. You know, Vaughn wasn't really high on the bank, and Chris had a great opportunity there, but unfortunately just got a little too deep.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan Lontaine. Chris Forsberg gets his car up there on the flatbed. Vaughn Gint Jr. will advance on. That's a wrap for Chris Forsberg in the season. But before we move on to our next battle, Lorette Nichols got another driver down on the ground.
Odi Bakshis takes the win, but what you were concerned about was that it wasn't unanimous, that there was a one more time, so you were trying to figure out what you need to clean up.
Yeah, you know, we're trying to improve on every single run here, and I thought that was great. You know, I thought we hit all our marks, but my spotter said, you know, there's one judge that called one more time, so I'm asking for clarification from my spotter, and we'll nitpick in my run, and hopefully we don't make that mistake, whatever it was, and keep going strong the rest of the round.
Top 16, where are your nerves right now?
You know, my nerves are high in top 32 because it's just pressure building. I'm glad I broke through that, and it feels amazing to break through top 16 at Irwindale. This is not usually the nicest track to me, so every little advancement I get, I'm very thankful of that because this track's just tough. It's tough for all of us. We all saw what happened in top 32. That was insane. So I'm just glad to be here and to keep going.
Did you feel yourself make contact with Taguchi?
No, I didn't feel any contact. I think it was a great run. I loved it. Taguchi made quite a bit of contact with the inner bank, and that became a handful following because it slowed him down a lot. And you see what happens when the lead car goes into the inner bank. Usually the follow car gets sucked in. So as a follow driver, you got to say, hey, I'm staying in this because I want to win. But you know the consequence of that. It might be brutal.
Odi, thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Man, Odi's face is saying it all, and his mouth is obviously saying what he's feeling, and he's just feeling the flow. He's feeling the vibe. His grin, it just, you know, he's not too far from his home. He's got his family here. He's feeling the vibe. So as we keep the party going, and we are moving on to Michael Essa. And it looks like JTP. Justin Pollock will be leading the purge of the nitrous. Again, all these vehicles on average about 1,000 horsepower, but it's that X factor that really just separates the men from the boys. Here we go. Justin Pollock, Michael Essa here in top 16. JTP, who qualified 5th. Michael Essa qualifying 12th. Look at that. Michael Essa quickly gets the angle, but that is not going to help him out. He drops down middle of the bank. JTP gets high. He's on that hotline. It's the name of his company, and that's where he's at. Transition past that front clip. Michael Essa very shallow. Now coming out to that second outer zone. Big angle from JTP. It looks like he taps that back bumper. Now into that final front clip, and then into that final outer zone. Ryan.
Yeah, it looks like Michael Essa just miscalculated that initiation a little bit. Watch how close he gets to JTP prior to initiation, and then when he snaps it, he does it early. It puts him on a lower line. And this point forward, he's playing catch-up. He knows he needs to move up. Now, Justin did not fill that zone completely, so he gave a little bit back there to Michael Essa. But Essa's unable to get within proximity, and now JTP pretty deep into outside zone 2, right up against a wall there. Scratches the bumper. Great job through that final inside clip, and then Essa finally swinging towards the end. Does close the door a little bit, but not the impact that you'd like to see from the chase driver. So now Michael Essa will have a chance to go to the lead, and Justin Pollock will chase him down.
All right, so hashtag FDIRW, that's Irwindale. You can see JTP. Maybe he's waving at Jackson and his son, I don't know, but Jackson Pollock and Sandra looking on. Oh, it looks like, oh wow, look at this. Justin Pollock is calling a competition timeout. I was wondering if he's gonna warm up his tires, but no. Justin Pollock calls a competition timeout. That is a 5-minute allotment once they get hands on the vehicle. So he's gonna see if he can get his car back together. Ryan, what do you think happened?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that the car may have been overheating potentially at the line, but it's hard to say at this moment. Let's find out.
We are gonna throw it down to Lorette Nickel.
Forrest Wang walked up to James Dean, shook his hand, and said, "Best of luck." Forrest, we know there's a lot on the line for James Dean, but for you, do you feel any other responsibility than to just drive your best?
No, I'm just going to go out there and drive my best. Obviously I'd like to win, but if I don't, I don't have all the pressure on me to win, as to where James has a lot of pressure. If he goes out in this round, it's going to put him on the bubble, and he'll be waiting to see what happens with the rest of the guys, to where, it's kind of a, repeat of last year. And I ended up taking the win in top 16 against him. And, it wasn't until the last run of the night that, the championship was decided. So, I know he doesn't want to be in that position, so he's going to be bringing his A game. He's not going to make the same mistakes he made last year. But like I said, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. The team's got my car solid, and, I'm feeling good with the car. And, I'm just going to come out here, give it my best, and, we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Well, is history repeating itself like last year? Top 16 battle between Forrest Wang and James Dean happens again in 2019. Best of luck, Forrest. Guys.
Oh, look at that. So, yeah, there we are. Look. Oh, man, yeah, she running hot. Woo! All right. So.
And Justin Pollock probably making a smart decision there. You would hate to get through that second half of the run and the car not perform the way that you want to after a good run against Michael Essa. So I think that's probably a good usage of the competition timeout. However, that will be his one and only, as now we revisit the second half of this battle. And just to remind everybody, we have an incomplete from Daijiro Yoshihara and also one from Chelsea Denofa.
So basically it's a wash. I mean, can we call it a wash? I mean, that's a wash because you don't have a run in its entirety. Chelsea, yes, messed up on the second portion of it, but Dai Yoshihara messed up on the first portion.
There won't be any lead to leads or chases to be able to compare, so it's going to come down to who did better on this run.
Ooh, here we go, one and done, or are we going one more time? Dai Yoshihara initiates. Chelsea Denofa shreds that back bumper. Man, those guys in the RTR fellas go through a ton of bumper skins, and Dai Yoshihara high on the bank. Chelsea Denofa knows he needs to turn it not to 11, but also to 12. Past that inside clip, now into the second outer zone. This is where Chelsea Denofa got into it, and he gets into it again. Chelsea, sparks fly, and he goes into the wall as Dai Yoshihara completes the run, and there it is again. Dai Yoshihara pushes hard, and Chelsea, who had so much motivation and so much basically just coming into this round, the pole sitter, I think that's going to be a wrap, Ryan.
Well, silky smooth start there for Dai in the lead position. Pretty high line on the bank, a little bit less angle there from Denofa. Looks like he's almost trying to resist hitting Dai because he's got so much grip in the car. And then right here coming down into the lower bank, the back bumper goes into the wall. The rear tires also hit, going very deep. He makes that big correction overall in the angle. Then he misses outside zone 3, but it's really this section right here. Let's watch it up close, Jared, as we take a look. See, he's drifting out backwards. You can see he goes right to the steel and the aluminum of the vehicle, straightens up on the car, and only Chelsea Denofa would get right back in it and still maintain proximity, but nonetheless a big mistake there by Chelsea Denofa in the chase.
Oh man, so now we are waiting for the outcome of Dai Yoshihara and Chelsea Denofa. Slide them left for Dai Yoshihara. Dai Yoshihara gets the victory. Chelsea Denofa takes himself out. Lantain, I'm gonna throw it over to you, man, because that got very hectic, especially after that first battle. Dye has that incomplete. Chelsea goes into the wall. Boom, boom, boom. Chelsea takes himself out. But overall, you guys really kind of dug yourself in and really put a lot of thought into the first portion of that battle.
Yeah, the first portion of the battle was a little more complicated for us because it's an interesting situation that we may not have encountered before, where a driver incompleted first and then got into a separate altercation with the wall, and it came down to who was at fault, so we knew who would get a longer time to fix their car. So it wasn't so much for the judging side of things, but it was really serious for the repair side, and we kind of gave it to Dai Yoshihara as he was within close enough proximity to not be blamed entirely for that crash on his own. But clearly, in that situation here in the second run, Chelsea was in the wall on his own. He did manage to get the car back to angle, but he incompleted before that happened, so the win does go to Dai.
Thank you, Ryan Lontaine, and our judges, Andy Yen, Brian Eggert, as our next battle, Gushi and Reeder. Ken Gushi, Travis Reeder, as Lorette said, you're the OG. Hell yeah, the OG, he says. I'm quoting him there. Here we go, the Granny Performance Toyota 86. Ken Gushi, he wants to win here in Irwindale. He's going against the 2019 FD Rookie of the Year. As Ken Gushi locked and loaded. Look at that, Reeder shimmies his way against, look at this, you got a veteran versus a rookie. There's only a handful of veterans, and here's Reeder taking that shallower line. Gushi puts it out there, doesn't get up close to the wall. You got to think he knows what's going on in the chase position. You look out his left window, he sees Reeder kind of struggling there, shallow, doesn't need to fully push, you know, like, you know, Denofa and Dai. Denofa knows he needs to push against Dai Yoshihara.
Well, this is a very similar lead run compared to what we saw yesterday in qualifying from Ken Gushi. Pretty high on the bank, good angle there. You saw a little bit of struggling in the chase position by Travis Reeder, who came out of the gate really hot, trying to push the pace. But down here on the inner bank, he's on a much lower line here. Gushi very deep into the zone, leaves it at the right time. Let's watch how he gets that inside clip. Very tight there. Reeder does tap it, and then Gushi's able to fill that final outside zone. So he gave himself a good opportunity here to get the win against Reeder. He just needs to come back with a strong chase.
We are looking at Justin Pollock's team, looking at it, and you're seeing the shoulders shrug over here. Something larger might be afoot here for JTP, who has that advantage. And guess what? I'm seeing our race official give the throat chop. Is that does he not make his competition timeout? We'll find out here in just a moment. We'll finish out the second half of this battle. Travis Reeder. Oh, we are finding out from Lorette Nichols. She says JTP does not make his competition timeout. Attrition, Ryan. You kept saying that. 8 rounds of competition, JTP, ESSA, the first portion of that battle. All right, here we go. We're now talking about Reeder and Gushi. Reeder, who had those mistakes in the chase position, he's now up front. How does Ken Gushi handle an FD rookie? Does he apply the pressure? Yes, he does! Wow, look at that! Woo-wee! As Ken Gushi says, hey, what's up, young buck? These veterans still got it. As Reeder goes in that second outer zone, here's Ken Gushi, keeps his composure, just hits him and backs off and finishes out the entirety of the course. And that was very impressive, Ryan. You know what? That's a little mark, kind of like, hey, what's up, player? Remember, hell yeah, I'm the OG. That's what he did, shots fired.
A little bit of a mic drop there by Ken Gushi. Right out of the gate, he surged forward. He followed Reeder like a moving clipping point, even though Reeder was on a much lower line, and that shows assertiveness and control. Now coming into the lower bank, Reeder stretched out a little bit from that inside clip, but now Gushi eyeing him up as Reeder does go deep into the zone. You can see the front end washing out a little bit by Reeder, a slight little adjustment. Gushi backs off for a second there. Reeder was able to pull a little bit of a gap, but overall there were some great moments there by Ken Gushi in the chase, and we'll see if that's enough to move him on into the grade 8.
Wow, so Reeder, look at that Gushi, little blue flame there. And slide him left for Reeder or right for Ken Gushi. And there you go, the OG Ken Gushi. The Goosh is loose. All right, so Ken Gushi moves on. All right, so Ryan, crazy, look at that, Justin Pollock. Hey, round of applause for JTP and his team. A bit of a somber Justin Pollock. He put down a great first portion of that battle, but unfortunately, his evening is done and his season is a wrap. Now it is Michael Essa. He is on the start line and this is his bye run. So Michael Essa will be going against Vaughn Gittin Jr. in the Great 8. As Michael Essa initiates into the bank. Big angle for him. And this is a good opportunity to work out because, you know, the conditions where they're at right now, it's cooled down considerably. So how has the surface, you know, how the tires interact with the pavement. And of course, just, you know, going through the lines, going through the smoke. But Michael Essa will be going against Vaughn Gittin Jr. You saw how much smoke Vaughn Gittin Jr. kicked up. Chris Forsberg couldn't handle it. Can Michael Essa handle it? Because Essa, who qualified 12th, going against Vaughn Gittin Jr. 13th. So he'll be in that chase position on the second portion of that battle. Ryan, can we talk about some of the outcomes here, some of the math, what's going on, like scenarios? Because, as you say, must win for Odie. Odie's in the Great 8, but Pieter and Osbo.
Yeah, Jared, there's not really much to say just yet about this, the graphic that you see up on the screen here until we really get to James and Frederick, Peter Vinsek. But Odie Bakshis is basically doing his job so far. Obviously, you see Chris kind of grayed out there because he was eliminated after qualifying. But these are the guys that have that mathematical possibility. And we know for Odie Bakshis and Peter Vinsek, they do need to win the event. James Dean needs to go out in the top 16. Frederick Osbo needs to go out in the Great 8 for them to have a chance. And then obviously Osbo needs to finish ahead of Dean by 1 or 2 spots, depending on where Dean goes out. If they go to the finals, it's going to be winner take all.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a must win for either of these guys. And of course, you know, to finish out top 3 is a great success story for any of these drivers. I mean, finishing the top 3 with some of the best drifters in the world, that is still something to tout. Pieter Vinsek will lead. He qualified 7th. Osbo qualifying 10th. And here we go. Pieter Vinsek, Frederick Osbo. If you can recall, if you didn't watch it, I'll remind you, Texas. Pieter Vinsek in the chase position, gets into Osbo, and they go into that tire wall. And here we go. Peter Vinsek initiates. Frederick Osbo right there in that Rockstar energy drink. Next entire Toyota, racing Toyota Corolla. Peter Vinsek coming down on the bank into that inside front clip. Osbo a little bit off now into that second outer zone. Peter Vinsek and Osbo. Poland versus Norway. Now coming through that second outside zone, tightening up to the front clip, now to the outside zone. Pieter gets all the way out there. Osbo does not. This is a dogfight. Make some noise, Irwindale.
Okay, that was awesome. Look at Osbo pacing him down the back straight. Initiates right with him there. They both get into the bank. A little bit of a flub and a mistake from Peter right after he initiated. Osbo keeping it tight here, not letting Vinsek get away. Osbo just a little bit down on that inside clip. Now coming up on the inside, Vinsek deep into this second outside zone. Here comes Osbo closing the door. Vinsek pulls off that outside zone at the right time, but Osbo follows him all the way through and pretty much matches him perfectly. A great job there by both competitors. Just that one little mistake from Vinsek after he initiated, lost a little bit of angle there for a second. But both drivers have some areas where they can improve on the next run, and that means that those spotters can be talking to their drivers saying, hey, this is how you might be able to take him out, force him one more time. There's a lot of possibilities here as Frederick Osbo will now take the lead against Peter Vinsek.
You got to think redemption in Osbo's mind. Peter Vinsek, you know, he's having fun. It's kind of a win-win for him. If he wins, it's cool. You know, if he loses, it's like, I'm going to cheer for my boy James. You know, but he's won here before. Osbo, redemption. Not only just the last event in Texas, but last year, Vaughn Gittin Jr. and him. So just, you can see in his signature helmet, he's been rocking that Bandit Simpson since he was a kid, and he's posted up some tremendous photos of him as a kid driving Volvos and driving ridiculous cars on the ice. But here he is, you know, he's touted by Rockstar Energy Drink, Toyota Racing, Nexen Tires, all of his partners, and you know what? Couldn't be happy for him. He's traveled the world. And Peter Vinsek, you know, an introduction for him 3 years ago, and here he is. You know, when you're a team owner, you know, the word house thing, and you kind of throw your arm around one of the best drifters in the world, James Dean, you think like, oh, cool, this kid's, you know, he's okay, this, that. No, he is competitive. He's not just kind of funding the program. He is definitely a competitor, a champion, a contender for the championship. Frederick Osbo, Pieter Vinsek right there. Look at Peter Vinsek grinding those Falcon tires in the door of that Toyota Corolla hatchback. Transitioning now into that second outer zone. How are they going to handle it? Into the second outer zone. Peter Visick runs into the door of that Toyota Corolla. Visick makes his presence felt. The Candyman dropping some sweetness on the side of that Corolla. Make some noise, Irwindale. Woo!
Entertainment on
Wow.
hand here as Osbo drops down, Visick diving right in. Osbo on a little bit of a higher line here, a little bit more angle than Visick. But Visick used that to gain proximity on the big bank. Osbo had a bit of a higher line and a bit more angle. However, down here, this is where Visick matches him, gets right in the door against Frederick Osbo, taps him. Now moving around that final inside clip, Osbo hits it, and Visick is right there. An unbelievable battle. And just to preface this, Jared, obviously Osbo is going for the championship. If he loses here, he would obviously not win the championship, but it will not automatically go to James Dean,
right,
because Visick and Bocci still have a chance.
I love the side-by-side. This really just shows, lead versus lead, chase versus chase. There's that mistake. You're just pointing that out, Ryan, with Peter Visick. But look at that chase run. He's a little lower, but just with that proximity, it just looks a little more dominant.
Well, Visick is a little bit more wiry, but he had a bit more proximity in certain areas. Osbo's a little bit more consistent, but didn't necessarily have the degree of proximity that Visick had. This is a really close battle, and the judges are really going to be scrutinizing what the priority and the preference is here between the degree of proximity, the duration of proximity, and also the mistakes that were made. And remember, this is what happened in Texas. This is what prohibited Frederick Osbo from really having that 100% ready car to face James Dean. And James Dean actually was not able to get it done against Chelsea Denofa. And that was kind of a saving grace in terms of keeping the point spread a little bit closer. But Visick did take out Frederick Osbo there. Visick ended up getting the loss, but nonetheless, it is what has created the situation that we are in right now as we await the results.
Oh, doctor, it's just that warrants that. It's just amazing. Oh, we're hearing. What are you guys saying? I can't hear you out there. I can't hear you. What are you saying? All right, slide him left for Osbo, right for Peter Visick. Keep him in the middle for one more time, and Peter Visick gets the win. Peter, Ryan, Osbo's championship hopes?
Yeah.
Pretty much out the window, Lantain. Going to you.
Yeah, all three of us agreed on that one clearly, and it came down to Osbo in the chase made some key errors in his chase run. He was not as accurate as the lead driver was, so he wasn't following the lead driver's line as well as we'd like to see him do so. He was off of inside clip number 1, and he was also off on the early part of outside zone number 2. And we just felt that Piotr did a better job in the lead as well, going deeper in outside zone 1 and 2. And Piotr's chase, he was much more aggressive. He was closer to Osbo, put on a lot more pressure, and although it fluctuated a little bit in terms of the proximity, I think overall he was a lot closer through the majority of the run, which is what we tell the drivers to do.
Yeah, just an unbelievable effort there. There it is. You're seeing the Wordhouse hugs all around, and this is a concerted effort for the Wordhouse Drift team to really just solidify, maybe he moves up into second, pending on Odie's, final results. Here's Peter Visick. He's running over to Osbo. That was a great battle, and he deserved it. Ryan, our next battle, Turk and Castro. And I know you're over there analyzing what's going to happen between James Dean and Wang, because if Dean wins, what's the opportunity that either Osbo or Piotr could jump up? But we'll get to that in a moment. Right now, it's all about Ryan Turk and Jonathan Castro, these Toyota racing vehicles. Ryan Turk throws it in. Whoa, Castro way down there on the bank as Ryan Turk high and tight with that gum out. Toyota Racing, Toyota 86 on Nitto tires. Castro firing off and loses angle. That's going to be an incomplete for Jonathan Castro, unfortunately, for the DR driver. Oh man, the gremlins just keep rearing their ugly head for Jonathan Castro. Let's take a look at it again here, Ryan.
Well, unfortunately, it seems like the tough weekend that Jonathan Castro has had is continuing here, not able to be on the same line with Ryan Turk. We know Turk has been steady and solid throughout the weekend. Castro falling back quite a ways there, and then obviously angling up, not able to finish the drift. Ryan Turk would need to finish the run here. He's able to do that without any issues, so he'll take a big advantage going into run number 2.
All right, so we'll alternate the order here. Now, Ryan, you have to think, what is Ryan Turk thinking? What's his approach going against Castro, who is, to be honest, hasn't shown a good run just yet?
Yeah, if you know the car's not 100%, you definitely want to give some space there. One thing he does know, however, is that Castro does have an incomplete, so he just needs to keep Castro in his sights, not let him get away, and be at potential of an inactive chase. That said, however, he has a pretty good strategy here in order to implement against Jonathan Castro to move on into the grade 8.
All right, Castro sans that front bumper, no front fender as well. The 4-cylinder versus the 2J, the Toyota 86s of Castro and Turk. You have to think, you can't blame him for being hesitant, being a bit gun shy on initiation. Ryan Turk, I really think has to, I'm hoping that his spotter says, all right, just lay back a little bit. You have the horsepower, you're right there, you know, the Nitto C, and that's exactly what he did. Castro on initiation, mid-level on that bank. Now coming into that first outer zone, that gets very cringy, but okay. Jonathan Castro throws it in. He didn't lose drift, Ryan Turk. But I'm gonna have to lean on the judge. I don't envy them in this scenario, but Ryan, we all know that Castro's not running 100%.
Yeah, we absolutely can't blame Ryan Turk for that mistake right there. He's doing the best that he can behind a car that we know is hurt. That car went into the wall twice tonight, and they've repaired it as best as they can, but they know it's not perfect. The front suspension is kind of mangled. The strut towers aren't really lined up right. He's doing the best that he can with a hurt car, and you can see there as he comes from inside clip 1 to outside zone 2, he tries to rotate the car, but he's not really confident in it, and he has slowed down there too much, and it chokes up Ryan Turek in the chase position. So Ryan can't be blamed for that. Ryan did an excellent job of kind of managing his proximity and guessing how much proximity he needed to have from the beginning. He did a great job of being strategic about that, and I think that's a really key point of being a successful driver in this series.
Thank you so much, Lantain. Yeah, it gets a little hairy there for Ryan Turk, and you can't blame him. I appreciate, you know, and I'm sure Ryan Turk and his team appreciate that kind of assessment of what's going on. And I have to imagine, you know, both these guys flying the Toyota flag, Toyota racing, Toyota vehicles. So slide them left for Castro or right for Ryan Turk. And there goes Ryan, Andy, and Brian. Ryan Turk gets the victory. He moves on to the grade 8. Ryan Sage, I throw it over to you. You have the bracket. You're looking at the math. James Dean and Forrest Wang, excuse me. What are the scenarios?
Well, we right now have James Dean out front with 533 points. Frederick Osbo being knocked out in the top 16 will finish with 513 points. That puts him at that 20-point differential that we talked about at the show open. Peter Visek moving on into the grade 8 against Ken Gushi has moved up a few points to 482. And as we look at this next battle coming up, if James Dean were to win here, it would be basically impossible for the other contenders to win the championship, even if they win. So if he moves on into the grade 8, this would be, and I'll double check this, but this would be the championship for James Dean.
So what you're saying is, bears repeating, if James Dean wins this battle against Forrest Wang, the championship is his for the 3rd time in a row. James Dean, your 2-time and defending FD champion, is going against Forrest Wang. Forrest Wang has beat him here at Irwindale. James Dean does exactly what he needs to do. The reflection of his Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires S15 is right there on the Irwindale Speedway. Claimed a lot of victims, but right now the machine is pushing back, not only against the track, but also rising right there. Forrest Wang delivers. Ryan, again, the people stop their feet here in the building. If James Dean wins this, he's your 2019 champion.
Forrest Wang needs to take the fight to him here. Dean gets a good jump, but here comes Forrest, closing the door on a very fast S15. Now gaining some proximity here is Forrest Wang, but James Dean looking solid out front. Nice job on that inside clip. Last year, Forrest Wang was able to take him out. Can he do it again? Dean, this time on the inside bank, looking great, but Forrest, nice job on proximity as they follow up here and come through the finish line. Dean scraping the back bumper on that final outside zone.
So Ryan, I asked for clarification once again. You know, you're looking at the computer, just want to make sure. So we might have a champion here in the grade A. Or in the 16, moving on to the 8.
If James Dean moves on into the grade 8, he gets grade 8 points. That would be 549. The most that Odie and Peter could get if they won the event would be 534 and 533 respectively. So this would solidify the championship for James Dean if he wins here against Forrest Wang.
This is it. You are witnessing history. The first ever 3-time in a row Formula Drift champion. There's only one other 3-time champion, Chris the Force Forsberg. James Dean took a hiatus from Formula Drift here in the States. He's your Drift Master champion. Now here he is. James Dean is going for 3 times in a row in the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Forrest Wang would love to defeat him. He did it here last year. Forrest Wang initiates. James the Machine Dean right there in tow. It's an S15 battle. James Dean not having the angle that Forrest Wang has, but now has that proximity. Transitions past the inside clip. James Dean shallows up on that transition. Forrest Wang delivering massive angle there on that second outer zone. Look at James Dean. He dives in fairly shallow. The machine is not living up to his nickname right now, as Forrest Wang very well is putting it to what could be the 3-time champion. Peter Visick, JTP, they're looking on, Ryan.
Visick brought his A game against Osbo. I have to be honest here, this is not the A game we're expecting to see from James Dean. Much less angle here, good proximity, but you can see Forrest Wang super high on the bank, and then right here he almost gets caught up with Forrest Wang. He goes on the inside almost of that inside clip. This is not a horrible run from James Dean, but this is not the competitive chase run that we were expecting here to solidify the championship. And then he hits that last inside clip there. So Forrest Wang doing a good job in the lead position, tapping the wall there, keeping it going. And this is going to be another tough decision for the judges, but James Dean having a little bit of a unorthodox time of what we're typically used to seeing from him in the chase runs.
That was not a textbook run from James the Machine Dean. Here is a side-by-side comparison with James out front on that left-hand side. Dominant out front. That clean air looks good. Forrest Wang, you see him gain ground. He gives himself a little bit of space through the entirety of the course in that chase position. I think Forrest Wang did a good, consistent job. James Dean, I like the word you used earlier about Peter Visick, a little bit wiry. I think that's where James Dean that was kind of where he lived. Look at Forrest Wang actually deeper on that second outer zone than James Dean. I mean, man, what do you guys think? Where are my James Dean fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Forrest Wang fans at? Make some noise. Where are my one more time fans at? Make some noise. Ryan Sage was talking about the scenarios. If James Dean wins, he is your 2019 Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Champion. And then also keep in mind, if he does not win, there is still, we didn't talk about those scenarios because we'll approach those as we progress. Forrest Wang defeated James Dean last year at this venue. And that changed the scenario and changed the opportunity for Frederick Osbo, who is now out of competition here tonight. But it could open up a window of opportunity for the other Wurthouse vehicle and also the other Falcon vehicle of Odie Bakshi's. So we do know that a Falcon tire vehicle will win the championship for the 3rd year in a row. Slide him left for Forrest Wang or slide him right for another championship for James Dean. Ryan says Forrest Wang. And one more time. Lontaine, going to you. You actually sided with Forrest Wang.
Yes, I did.
Andy and Brian said one more time. And, I mean, I can see why you went with Forrest, but I like the idea of this is a championship. You're going for it. And I know you're talking to Brian right now, but what are your thoughts? Did you talk with them about their outcome?
No, I didn't get much info from them yet. We haven't had the chance, but I chose Forrest Wang because I thought he did a really great job in the lead. I thought that James Dean also did a great job in the lead. So they're almost even on the leads, and you come to the chase. I thought that Forrest did a much better job in the chase position. Regardless of who it is, James Dean or not in the chase, that was not a clean chase. He wasn't doing what he should be doing in that chase position. Made quite a few errors that I didn't really like, especially that angle all the way around outside zone 1. Sure, he was closer, but at what compromise? And I didn't think that was really great. So I think that overall, if you look at both runs, Forrest did better. They clearly thought that there was a really tight race between both of these drivers and that they should go one more time. So, of course, the majority wins, and we have one more time.
Down to Laurent Nickel, who is live with James Dean now.
A lot of movement down here around James Dean's car. Peter is down here giving some advice. James, the judges said that your runs weren't that clean. How can you fix that?
Yeah, it was quite hard staying behind Forrest on the bank and on the inner bank. I was trying to keep proximity, but it was hard because I thought that he was he was tapping the wall, but I had a feeling that he was hitting it too deep. But he managed to keep it going, so I should have stayed in it, harder. But hopefully we can try to learn from this run. Try to do a strong lead run again and try to chase him hard. So I'll try my best.
James, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette, and thank you, James Dean. I mean, just getting right up in there. I love Lorette just asked the hard question. How can you clean it up? How can you clean it up, James?
Judges say you didn't do it very well. You going to do better?
Hey,
yeah,
you know
love
what?
It. That's what we love about Lorette.
That's the only way you're going to get the straight answers. You're not going to make more money unless you ask. Hey, Ryan, am I back here for 2020? Do I have a job next year?
Well, we got to talk about
it. Okay, wow. All right. Jim Lau, back to you. All right, so there's Odie Bakshis. We are got Odie to the line. We are advancing on into the grade 8, so keep in mind that the James Dean Forrest Wang battles in the top 16, but we are advancing on into the grade 8. Dai Yoshihara versus Odie Bakshis. Vaughn Gittin Jr. versus Michael Essa. That is the left side of the bracket. The right side, Ken Gushi versus the other Wordhouse vehicle, Peter Visick, and then Ryan Turk will be going against the winner of James Dean or Forrest Wang. So, regardless of the championship, how that unfolds, if James Dean wins the championship, we still want to know who wins here at Irwindale. So, if you find out who the champion is, don't go anywhere because you're seeing the kind of driving we're seeing. You want to watch all the way till the end. Here we go. It's all Falcon Tire. Man, Falcon Tire all across this track right now. Here we go. Odie Bakshis, Dai Yoshihara. Odie high on the bank, delivering smooth. Dai Yoshihara definitely has a proximity, but lower, similar to that as we saw from James Dean. Now coming into that second outer zone, Odie Bakshis considerably deeper, but Dai now gets to the side of Bakshis and around that final front clip.
Well, both drivers enjoying a good event so far. Odie Bakshis taking the lead here against Daijiro Yoshihara. Snaps into that initiation, nice and high on the bank. Good proximity by Dai, slightly lower line. Big angle from Odie coming off the bank, transitioning into inside clip number 1. Pulling a bit of a gap here. Now Dai starts to close the door, making a move on the inside as Daijiro Yoshihara as Odie stays deep into that outside zone, but Dai unable to be shaken as they come across the finish line together. Great battle there by Odie Bakshis and Daijiro Yoshihara.
All right, we're in the NOS Energy Drink Grade 8, our first battle of the Grade 8. And we'll go back to the top 16 with that Dean and Wang battle. Dai Yoshihara, seeing with that right-hand drive, turn 14 distribution, Falcon Tires, Ineos Oil, McLeod, BC, he's got the V8, both these guys with a V8. Dai Yoshihara with the turbo setup, and Odie Bakshis with that Vortex supercharged under the hood. And now alternate the order. Second half of this battle, Dai Yoshihara and Odie Bakshis. The lights are on, let's send it, fellas. Dai Yoshihara, clean start. Odie Bakshis, excuse me, in that chase position. Nice shot by Dai Yoshihara. Initiating, there is Odie Bakshis. You can see him mimicking that angle. Lets him get away a little bit. Can he reel him back in? Yes, he can, and there he goes. Odie Bakshis strikes. We saw him with 2 back-to-back wins at the beginning of the season. Can he do it again here in Irwindale? Woo! tractor beam on.
Really fun runs to watch here between Daijiro Yoshihara and Odi Bakshi's Dai. Good initiation there, mid-high lie on the bank. Trying to work his way up, now higher. Odi Bakshi's great proximity coming down, crossing over the smoke line. Little bit of separation there. Now Odi trying to attack as Dai gets into that second outside zone. Great job by Dai, very deep, but Odi right there with him. Super close as they come through that final inside clip and to the outside zone. Great battle between Odi Bakshis and Daijiro Yoshihara. Odi would be eliminated if he loses here. If he wins, he's got another breath. Here we go.
Here we go. Slide him left for Dai Yoshihara, right for Odi Bakshis. Ryan says one more time. Brian says Odi Bakshis, and Andy says Odi Bakshis. His championship efforts are still alive. Lantain, down to you. Were you outnumbered again? Remind me.
Yes, I was outnumbered, Jared.
There you go.
Yeah. I think that, or I thought that Odi did a great job in the chase position, but I thought that Dai did a better lead run overall. He was deeper in outside zone 2, and that's why I went one more time. These guys were very close. The one thing that really tied us up there was the transition from Odi at inside clip number 1 as well. He tends to transition way earlier than we'd like to see him do that, but they still went with him due to the other errors that were a little bit bigger from Dai Yoshihara, so Odi got the win.
All right, so here we go back to the one more time. Where are my James Dean fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Forrest Wang fans at? Make some noise. Where are my drifting fans at? Make some noise! Here we go. If James Dean wins, he is your 2019 Formula Drift champion. They'll get Forrest Wang right there in tow. James back on that wall. Forrest Wang drops down off the bank, now in that inside clip. Down to the second outer zone. Look at Forrest Wang. Just throwing the magnetic tractor beam on once again, right in and around that final clip. Woo! James Dean flirting with that wall, just tucking in on that concrete barrier.
It looks like Wang made a little bit of a mistake, and it may hurt him here. He does a great job starting off right there. He's got a lot of angle, but he's not able to carry the line out in the same way that James was. Still able to keep good relative proximity here. Now coming into the inside bank. Dean running a solid line here in the lead position. Right there with him, Forrest Wang, a slightly lower line. Better job right here through that last inside clip as Forrest Wang, but then loses a little bit of ground towards the end. So that is the campaign in the chase position by Forrest Wang. Now we switch things up. Forrest goes to the lead, and James Dean will chase him down. We'll see if he can fix some of those issues that he had last time that got us to the one more time.
Wow, so here we are as we look on, as do the Wardhouse Drift team. Let's alternate the order. This is our final battle of the top 16. Forrest Wang will lead. James Dean giving chase. This one more time battle against the two-time and defending champion, a potential three-time, first ever, three-time in a row. There is one other three-time champion of Chris Forsberg, but not in a row. We saw Tanner Faust get his championships in a row, but that was only 2 times. But now, James Dean, Forrest Wang. Forrest Wang would love to put a roadblock. He's about to get nuts. Here we go. Twin, 2JZ, S15s, and there's that proximity again, Ryan, but he's not mimicking his angle. He has not altered his chase job against Forrest Wang. Now Forrest into that second outer zone. I think James is really going to strike, but he doesn't want to push too hard and risk the car and crashing himself out. And there he's now mimicking the angle, but he punts that front clip out of the way. James trying to modify what he did, but it seemed fairly similar to his first battle.
Pretty similar, and you have to wonder how the judges are thinking about Forrest's chase. Massive angle from Forrest. James almost looked like he was close to hitting him. You can see he almost goes off course there. He's trying to avoid hitting Forrest because Forrest has got so much angle in the vehicle. James trying to make the appropriate adjustment to try to follow the lead driver as a moving clipping point. Now he gets into the pocket here, keeps the pressure on from outside zone 2, falls off a little bit on that final outside zone, and once again, a tough call for the judges here.
If James Dean gets the victory, he is your 2019 Formula Drift champion. That would be 3 in a row. Slide him left for Wang, right for James Dean. One more time. Andy says Forrest Wang. Brian says One more time.
How much hate is everybody
Oh my gosh.
right now?
One of those nights, guys.
Yeah.
One of those nights.
Just one of those nights. Ryan Lantain, going to you.
Yeah, I gave the lead run to Forrest Wang. I gave the chase run, no, vice versa. I gave the lead run to James Dean. I gave the chase run to Forrest Wang. Forrest in the lead position did lead James down early off of outside zone 1, and you can see that he was right on that inside line on driver's left, coming from outside zone 1 to inside clip 1, and then James Dean kind of had nowhere to go. Probably dropped a tire or two there, but we can't blame James for that. And but before that, James had no angle following Forrest around outside zone 1, which you can't really fault Forrest for. Forrest is high up on the wall. He's on throttle. Everything looked fine there, but it just looked like James didn't know if, as he said earlier, that Wang was going to stay on the wall and not crash. So perhaps that's why James was doing it again. But James is running a solid lead run. We just got to get a good lead and chase from one of these drivers.
All right, so we're going to take a short break here. When we come back, the action will continue. Not one more time, 2 more times, and we might go some more. How are you doing out there? Make some noise, Irwindale. And this is the AutoZone Title Fight presented by Rain-X. When we return, more head-to-head action. All right, welcome back here, Ryan. You made the claim. You said, man, people are just freaking out right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of drama between James Dean and Forrest Wang, both drivers making some mistakes. But, you know, here is, as we look at the championship history, pretty much what's on the line here. James Dean looking to be the first and only 3-time champion back-to-back-to-back. And there's a lot on the line here. Now, remember, for fans that are just coming into the sport or don't remember what happened here last year, it was Forrest Wang that took him out, and it does sound like we are getting ready to go, but it looks like Peter Visek is with Lorette Nickel.
Peter, you were in James's car. It looked like you were talking to him, maybe giving him some advice. What were you saying?
Yeah, we're just analyzing what actually happened when he was chasing Forrest, and we already figured out what he should try, and actually he figured out that, so I was just confirming. And I think he's happy with the solution. So we'll see when he will be chasing Forrest, but we are hoping for good.
What did he say he should try?
I don't know if I should actually tell the idea, because it's, I don't know if James will implement that. He's now actually in his head analyzing that, but I know that he will choose the great solution.
Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette Nickel. And I mean, that's not strategy. That's factual. You know, I don't know if I should be sharing that. You know,
I want to let the secret out.
Yeah, I mean that's how it is. You know, and it's you saw the kind of different strategies. I mean, these are both 2JZ S15s, 2 very different drivers, different countries of origin, but fairly similar setup. So it's kind of a gift and a curse where, you know, the attitude of the vehicles, you know, the setups, but it's going to showcase and really highlight those major flaws.
Yeah, and we saw mistakes from both drivers, given those different driving styles. And we are going to see this for a 3rd time here. This is the second one more time battle. James Dean, the higher qualified driver, will lead once again. 3rd set of tires for these gentlemen as we try to find out whether or not James Dean is going to three-peat again in this run and take the win, or Forrest Wang will once again play spoiler.
Yeah, and he's, like you said, once again, because he beat Forrest Wang last year. We've seen him get the win here at Irwindale, California. He has a strong contingent of followers and a large fan base. Here we go, James Dean out front once again. Ryan, as you said, he out-qualifies Forrest Wang, and now he goes for it once again. I mean, this is textbook. This is what we're seeing again, but look at now. Forrest Wang gets a little bit closer here. Now James Dean turns it up. Big angle there on that transition, on that inside clip. Now to that second outer zone. There's Forrest Wang tucking in, getting nuts around that final front clip. Forrest Wang just barely glances it. Ryan, I mean, this is what we saw previously. I would say maybe just a notch up on the belt.
Yeah, well, this was not the vicious attack in the chase run from Forrest, but much more consistent this time around. You can see much better line. James Dean running a great lead run up front. Forrest came down last time and off that bank a bit early. This time around, he does a much better job, cleans it up. It's not the attacking proximity, but it's pretty solid here. James Dean, meanwhile, out front, a really good lead run. We know that he's going to do that, pretty much guaranteed every single time. It's really going to come down to this chase run, and can Forrest run a similar lead run to James Dean? So that time around, pretty clean by both guys overall. We saw a couple areas where Forrest could have done better in the chase. James Dean, no major mistakes in the lead, and now we go back to the infamous chase run here with James Dean, Forrest Wang taking the lead.
All right, Forrest Wang, the Get Nuts Laboratory Yellow Speed Racing Achilles tire, NRG Innovations, running BC. Oh man, Big Country Labs there in the building as well. And then you got that Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon tires, Sylvia S15 of James Dean. If James Dean wins, he is your 3-time 2019 Formula Drift Black Magic Pro champion. Back to back to back. This is the second one more time. Are we going to get a clear-cut victor? Don't leave it in the judges' hands. This is what the fans want to see, but the drivers and teams definitely do not. We are sending car. The smoke has cleared. Are we going to get a winner? Are we going to find out who is champion? Let's send it! Irwindale! Forrest Wang out front. James Dean in that chase position. Both of them, Manji entry on initiation. Forrest Wang tapping that brake quite a bit. And James Dean nosing in. Now it looks like he gives him a little bit of a hate tap, not a love tap. He wants to get this victory. Forrest Wang now into that second outer zone. Both of them dive in. Forrest Wang, massive angle from him. We've seen that from start to finish throughout the weekend. He says that's what I've been doing the entire weekend. And Ryan, looks like James Dean doesn't get all the way to the outside zone. Ryan.
Well, I think this time around, in terms of the lead-to-lead comparison, looks like James Dean got the better of the leads. Forrest is not as high on the bank. James is still struggling, trying to figure out what to do with Forrest in the lead run. Forrest does not fill the first outside zone completely. Good job on that inside clip. Now coming into this outside zone, great job by Forrest here, but this time Dean really laying on the proximity. Forrest comes out of that zone just a tiny bit early. Nice job on that inside clip. Oh, it looks like Dean comes up a little bit short, also hitting that that final inside clip. So still a lot for the judges to consider here, and I don't know. Do we have a winner?
You know what? I would not be surprised if we go another one more time. I mean, this looks fairly familiar to what we've seen in the previous runs. James lacking that angle in mimicking the angle of Forrest Wang in lead position. Forrest Wang has been doing this angle the entire event, regardless of speed, regardless of anything. He just really needs to throw it down and chase him down. So as we are seeing James Dean out front, and Forrest Wang and Chase on the left. And then you are seeing Forrest Wang out front and James Dean in that chase position. Are we going to get an outcome? We are about to find out. Slide him left for Forrest Wang, right for James Dean, and your champion in 2019. Ryan says James Dean. Andy, there it is. James Dean is your 2019 Formula Drift champion, the first ever three-peat by a Formula Drift driver. It's unanimous. Ryan, Andy, and Brian, and James Dean is your 3-time champion. The crowd erupts, Ryan, in boos. But there it is. It was unanimous. James Dean is your 3-time Formula Drift champion. That is a three-peat for James the Machine Dean in that Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon tires S15, flying the Irish flag, even off of the antenna. Ryan, we heard boos erupt. Do you agree with the call? It was unanimous, you had to, but regardless, one more times, the third battle, that's a wrap for the championship.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough back and forth. The judges were trying to find who had the better of the two runs. It's clear that that Forrest Wang is a massive a fan favorite out here. He did not have the better of the two leads, and it did look like James Dean, even though he struggled on that big bank, did a much better job on the inside bank overall. But let's go to Ryan Lantain. Give us some insight from your perspective, Ryan, on how you guys looked at that final run.
Yeah, previously we looked at Forrest's lead run as a really solid lead because he was high on outside zone 1. He was running with high angle and probably a little bit slower, but that's totally within his right to do that, and James Dean was not able to adapt to it. But this time, Forrest was not all the way up on the bank, so he wasn't fulfilling the lead driver responsibilities. He came down off of outside zone 1 way too early as well, so that helped me excuse James Dean's lack of angle there slightly due to the mistake from Forrest Wang in the first place. And then, of course, James Dean did a much better lead run, and that's the reason for the call, and that
all right,
not
Ryan.
very nice down there, everybody. You're not really helping things out. Come on now.
Ryan, let us jump in here. It looks like we've got possibly Lorette Nickel down with James Dean, as you can see here, being congratulated by his teammates and fans, and there is Lorette coming in to talk to James.
The first words out of James Dean's mouth was, "I can't believe it." James Dean, congratulations. You are the 2019 Formula Drift champion. 3 years in a row. Such an emotional moment for you right now. Can you even tell me what you're thinking?
To be honest, I don't even know what I'm thinking. Like, I was in the zone with my battle with Forrest and just trying my best to stop making the same mistake I was making the previous 2 runs. It wasn't until my spotter Olaf told me on the radio, congrats in the championship, that I realized that was actually the battle for the championship. So I couldn't believe it. I just started doing donuts and laughing, and just unbelievable.
Congratulations, James. This whole entire season, how brave did you have to be leading up to this moment?
It was a very challenging year for us, but I feel like we're lucky in some ways when you see the likes of Peter drive and see how far the level has come up. Like, honestly, watching Peter all weekend this weekend has been an inspiration to me to push harder, and you know, I learned so much off his ability. He's an incredible driver, and I owe so much to this man. I owe so much to the people, my family and friends, and everyone that supports me around the place. It's just unbelievable, and I don't even care what happens. I want to watch good drifting, try my best driving, and just enjoy the rest of the night.
Congratulations to our 2019 Formula Drift champion, James Dean, for the 3rd time in a row. Guys.
Thank you, Lorette. Congratulations, James Dean. You know, overall, Forrest Wang really tried to fight off James Dean. It was those little nuances that going 3 times, you start comparing run to run to run, as Lantain was saying. You know, that lead run compared to this lead run compared to that final 3rd one, that was the kind of nail in the coffin. But guess what? We still have to find out who wins here in Irwindale. So, as we move on, Gittin and Essa, the second battle of the Grade 8, Essa initiates. High on the bank, Von Gittin Jr. a bit low as Essa rides that wall. Gittin now finds that proximity on that inside clip. And on the second outer zone, there's Essa. Look at Von Gittin Jr., the chrome nose, digging into the side of that BMW. Oh man, we got tire on tire contact between Essa and Gittin. Oh my goodness. Ryan Sage going to you. Woo!
Well, one heck of a battle underway here between Michael Essa and Von Gittin Jr. Essa looking really solid out front, big angle, and great line right there. Von Gittin Jr. trying to stick with him a little bit lower there as he approached Michael Essa on the big bank, now through the inside, coming into the outside zone number 2. Here comes Gittin. He's gonna tap Essa right here, but Essa's gonna stay in it. Great job by Essa, getting that second inside clip on that final section and then through the finish line there. Here's Vaughn surging forward. Let's see where he gets super close, maybe in wheel-to-wheel. There it is, wheel-to-wheel touching right there, coming off the second outside zone. And now let's switch things up. Jared Von Gittin Jr. taking the lead. Michael Essa chasing him down.
Von Gittin Jr. poised. The way Von Gittin Jr. found himself here in the Grade 8, taking out Kyle Mohan, then he goes through Chris Forsberg, and now here he is against Essa. Michael Essa went against Sebastian Gauthier for one more time. You saw JTP and him go against each other. Unfortunately, JTP had to retire. after that first portion of the after the first portion of that battle, and you saw that JTB had the advantage. And now Gittin and Essa are going against each other here to find out who's going against Odi Bakshis. Because now Odi Bakshis and Piotr Visek are fighting for the second and third spot, but can Osbo hold on to it as well? We'll get into those scenarios, but the championship is decided right now. Two former champions going against each other. Von Gittin Jr., a huge gap, but Von Gittin Jr. initiates, now drops down off of the infamous wall. Big angle from Von Gittin Jr. into that second outer zone, taps the brakes, sets himself up in that second outer zone. Michael Essa falling back quite a bit, Ryan. Would love to have some words with Michael Essa right now. The car, obviously not 100% right now, but he is just giving it all it's got.
Well, a big gap here established by Von Gittin Jr., but he's not going to get a lot of love from the judges here on this line. Very low down on the line, and that can be looked at negatively, especially if the chase driver was on a better line. Michael Essa should have been following like a moving clipping point, but they do want to see the lead driver get to the right line. Now, Von does do that on the inside bank, much better job there, but Essa was really struggling to keep up with Von. And now we will find out if we have a victor here.
The signature RTR grill lights are on. Essa Autosports, Achilles Tire, BMW there on the right. Slide them left for Von, right for Essa. Ryan, Andy, and Brian are three judges. And Ryan says Essa one more time, and Brian says Michael Essa gets the win. So going to the judges, so Ryan and Brian, going to you, that gap, was that a factor? What was going through your mind? I mean, that was a standout moment, but what were the other variables that really decided your decision, Ryan Lantain and Brian Eggert?
Well, we put a lot of importance on the lead run. The lead drivers are supposed to run that 100-point qualifying run, and in that case, Von would have had a pretty low-scoring lead run in qualifying sense. He was way off of outside zone 1. You could tell that he was trying to go fast. He wasn't concentrating on his lead driver responsibilities. So missing all of outside zone 1, very low angle through inside clip 1 with a quick transition, an early transition there. You're supposed to go by inside clip 1 with angle and not transition as you're going by it. He had a really big kind of a stall up there from inside clip 1 to outside zone 2. So all of the errors that Von made in the lead looked like they were of him trying to get away from the chase. So we can't really blame Essa for being far away in the chase position. And in Von's chase, he made a couple of errors there, while Essa did a pretty solid lead run. So that's why we sided with Essa.
All right, here we go. Ken Gushi, an FD veteran. Where are my Gushi fans at? Make some noise. Been competing since 2004 here at Irwindale, going against a now 3-time veteran, Piotr Visek. Ken Gushi initiating. Piotr Visek feeling the flow, but oh man, look at that. He is shimming his way. Now it looks like he is knocking on the door of that 86, but Gushi not phased. He's running his own game. Look at Piotr Visek dive in on the inside, but Gushi maintains massive angle. Piotr Visek is just all over the track right now. How he's maintaining angle and not falling out is beside, man, wow, what the heck? He was just all over the course. Wow.
Piotr Visek just opened up the door for Ken Gushi to make a big move here in this event. Piotr Visek was really attacking in the chase, but the Wirthaus cars seemed to have a little bit too much grip here. Much less angle than Ken Gushi, kind of bouncing off the front wheels there. And then right here on the transition, Visek is going to be on the inside. He's going to straighten up dramatically there and still save it and get in the pocket. But remember, Gushi's out front. This is a solid, clean lead run from him. Yeah. And you have to think about, can Gushi lay down a better chase run than that without those mistakes? Now, it's very possible that Piotr Visek incompleted in his chase run by that straightening that happened on the inside bank.
We are halfway through the NOS Energy Drink Grade 8. Visek and Gushi. Visek out front. Gushi, our number 2 qualifier, feeling the flow. Can he deliver? Oh no, look at this. An early initiation, but now looks like he's found the sweet spot. But Piotr Visek really high on that bank. Massive angle from him. shallowing up as Gushi now to that second outer zone is the Polish driver. Gushi buried in that Falcon tire smoke. Onto that final front clip and into that outer zone. Ryan, that is not what Gushi needed to do in that chase position.
Yeah, I think if Gushi had kept the pressure on and maybe initiated a little bit later to get on the right line with Peter Visek, as well as kept the proximity a little bit more consistently, it'd be much more clear of a win here. But Peter Visek does have a solid, clean lead run. So if you look at the lead-to-lead comparison, maybe it's similar. Now the judges are going to be dissecting the chase. We did see Visek make that big mistake on the inside bank, but he did have moments where he put the pressure on. He also had that lacking of angle, but he was in the proximity on the big bank. So that is what the judges are going to be looking at, is even though Ken Gushi was not really totally in the fight here, he didn't have the super big mistakes that Visek had, especially on the inside bank there. So I think that that's what they're going to be looking at and how that balance might play out overall as we see both cars lined up waiting for the result.
All right, taking a look at that side by side, you could see on that initiation.
Definitely great proximity on the left by Visek, but much less angle there. And Gushi on the other hand got kind of a bad jump on his initiation. Now here Visek's on the inside, and right there he's really going to straighten up. That's very, very close to an incomplete, and I think that is going to be the biggest weighted thing in terms of comparing the chase runs between Gushi and Visek. Gushi was not really in much of play in terms of the proximity, but Visek with that massive mistake does that balance things out.
All right, slide him left for Visek, right for Gushi. We go one more time. There's a one more time, Andy, and there you go. It's an OMT. Lantaine, going down to you.
Yeah, they both had similar lead runs, so I personally just looked at that as a wash. And in the chase position, they both made a lot of mistakes. You know, one driver was close, but falling all over the place, almost straightening, making a lot of corrections, and then the other driver not really being in proximity and having a very poor initiation. You know, Ken Gushi really mistimed his initiation in the chase, and it sort of set the pace for the rest of the run for him. So didn't really get close at the beginning and wasn't able to get close throughout the rest of the run. For me, it was a sign of just similar leads, similar chases, so we're going to try one more time.
You're going to try one more time, or they're going to try one more time?
We're going to try to get them to go one more time. Yeah.
Well, guess what? You dictate that.
Yeah,
so
it's working out.
Yeah. All right. Looks like Ken Gushi very well might be calling a maybe a comp timeout, but regardless, right now we are going on to Ryan Turk and James Dean. Ryan Turk qualifying third, going against James Dean. Ryan Turk will lead in that gum out Toyota Racing Toyota 86. Okay, so here is Ryan Turk out front, going against our now three-time three-peat, Mr. Three-peat, the machine, James Dean. Let's send it, here we go. Ryan Turk, that blackout, gum out, Toyota Racing Toyota 86 on Nitto tires. Going against the champ 3 times in a row, James Dean. Ryan Turk initiates. High and tight, James Dean. Little wavering there on the bank. Now coming past that front clip. We saw Ryan Turk deliver earlier this year after building a new car. Very settled, tapping the wall, but he stays in it. And around that final front clip, Ryan, this is a good one right now, the way they are driving.
Well, we know Ryan Turk is able to lay down these really solid lead runs. Let's take a look at it from the get-go. Good jump by Turk. Dean already surging forward, but still struggling a little bit in trying to get into the pocket. This time he's able to get a little bit more consistent there, but as Turk hits that inside clip, a little bit of a gap separates here. Turk gets into that zone early. Here comes Dean closing the door right in the pocket now. Both drivers tap the wall, but no harm, no foul. Perfect around that final inside clip. And it looks like Ryan Turk was a little bit off that final outside zone. So pretty competitive battle there, Jared, overall, as now we will see James Dean take the lead against Ryan Turk.
James Dean pulling to the line. Ryan Turk with that conifer painted roof. The race service fellas, what's going on? You can see inside the cockpit of Ryan Turk. Smoke not as bad. We got a nice little gust here today. A little breezier to clear out the smoke after the battles. James Dean will now lead. Ryan Turk will give chase. The winner to go against either Peter Visick or Ken Gushi. And man, when we see Peter Visick and James Dean go against each other, that's fun. But it'd also be awesome to see an all Toyota battle too if Gushi got the victory. Here we go. James Dean initiates. Ryan Turk in the chase position. James Dean pouring some more angle at it. Ryan Turk low in the bank. Haven't seen that from Ryan Turk. Now into that second outer zone. Here comes Ryan Turk, James Dean. More angle dialed in. Now into that final front flip. Whoa, James Dean almost got into that wall.
Well, Dean out front this time. We can expect from a high degree of probability that he's going to run that really high level run. He does that right up against the wall. As you mentioned, Turk was a little bit down, and you can see he had a little bit of an avoidance there of James Dean on that transition prior to inside clip 1. This time, Dean really smooth and consistent on the outside zone number 2. Turk trying to drive through the smoke line. Dean crushing the back bumper, hitting that final outside zone, and just a massive plume of smoke as both drivers wait for the judges' result.
Do we have a victor? Slide him left for Dean, slide him right for Turk, keep it in the middle for it one more time. Ryan says James Dean, Andy says James Dean, as does Brian. It's unanimous. The now three-peat champ is moving on. Ryan Turk is knocked out. We have 3 drivers in the final 4. Odie Bakshi's, James Dean. We'll find out if it's Gushi or Peter Visick to go against James Dean. But the other final 4 driver is Michael Essa, Lorette Nichols with him now.
It seems drift drivers have a long memory because you are going against Odie in the next round, but looking backwards at the beginning of this year, you went against Odie and he beat you, so now you're looking for redemption.
Yeah, top 16 in Long Beach. Odie and I had just this killer battle. We were right door to door all the way around the track, and I had just a little less angle in front of the judges. Odie got the win, and I've been thinking about that all year. And Odie's been killing it, so I've just been watching him. And I love Odie. He's awesome, but I want to win. So we're going to throw down, and I hope I can keep the tires on the car and have a good battle. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And Odie just stepped over here. What were you guys talking about?
Yeah, I mean, so we're both privateers. You know, he builds his own car, I build my own car. And so it's that mutual respect. You know, we have these small teams, and we really work hard. All the teams out here work hard, obviously, but we have a very small team, and you know, those guys are awesome. My guys are awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette. Thank you, Michael Essa. He's going against, as he said, Odie Bakshis. I love that. Drifters have a long memory. You're like, I remember when 2017 you did this to me, as we are getting prepared. So, fans sticking around to find out who wins here in Irwindale. We have solidified a champion in James Dean. The three-peat has happened for the first time ever in FD history. This is Ken Gushi warming up his Achilles tires. And he would love to get on the podium and ideally in the win. And Peter Visick warming up his Falcon tires, ready to get after it as well. Ken Gushi had a solid lead run. Just when it came to the chase, I think that's where it really fell off, and that could have been an easy win for him. It was just way off.
Yeah, if he ends up losing this battle, I think he'll look back on that and realize there was some things that he could have done in his chase. Perhaps with the initiation a little bit higher up, maybe a little bit later, give himself a little bit more of a chance to chase down Peter Visick. We know with pretty much certainty that Visick is going to be aggressive in the chase. He's going to be pushing the pace. The question is, can he maintain the right angle, not make mistakes? And for Gushi, he's had incredible lead runs. We should expect to see another one of those. So we're going to be watching that closely. And then when we switch things up, can Gushi take what he learned in run number 1 and improve on that chase run?
Yeah, Peter, Pieter, he's been all over, man. He's like a skeeter. He's just kind of bouncing all over. He's ping-ponging all over the track, just that chase job and how he is manipulating his car, you know, just to be shallow on that, especially that second outer zone, the way he was going against Gucci, just really on the shallow, and then dove back and came back and get, like, the angle. I mean,
well, he got very close to an incomplete, and
yeah.
You know, one judge may have actually given it to him,
right?
Because I don't think we saw a complete one more time across the board on that. So
right.
Here we go, the one more time battle, Ken Gucci and Pieter Visek.
Yes, this is the lone battle in the Grade 8. We have to find out who is moving on, Gucci or Visek. And here we go. Ken Gucci out front, Visek in the chase position. As Gucci initiates on that outer zone, Visek, there's that lacking of the angle. Oh, we see a little tap there. And the attitude of Ken Gucci's car does get disrupted, but it continues on pace. Woo! And that threw off Pieter Visek. That could have been a lot worse, Ryan. I thought for sure we were going to see that car hop.
I will bet you.
Wow.
I'll bet you $50 if I asked Andy Yen when was that more. When did that happen to be predictable? It would be from leaving outside zone 1. Because watch this here. You take a look at Gucci, great job. Visek pushing the pace, really. Now watch the tap here. And Gucci angles up. Now Visek comes up on the inside. He's going to go almost offline here. He's pointed towards the grandstands. And as he transitions back down, he has no room, nowhere to go. And Ken Gucci finishing the run with a complete run is going to have a massive advantage here.
Oof, that could have been so much worse, Ryan.
And remember, that is a decel zone, so Ken Gucci is able to decel there, but it was really, this is very similar to the Forsberg situation where he was way too far up the line. There was no way he was going to be able to make that. The back rubs up against the wall, and then he explodes. See how he's pointing up here?
Oh, yeah.
And he's driving over the line, and then coming back down, he's like, uh-oh, we got some problems. He angles the car up smartly, but unfortunately, he was too deep.
Fortunately, he only lost taillights in that back bumper. He could have lost the back half of that car. Just losing a couple taillights here. He will now lead. Odi Bakshis, Michael Essa, already in the Final Four. James Dean waits to see if he's going against his Wordhouse Drift Team teammate or if he's going against Ken Gucci. If Ken Gucci gets the victory, he's guaranteed at minimum 3rd place. He's the highest qualifying driver remaining here in the 5 drivers remaining. Race tape is out here. So Ken Gucci is calling a competition time out. Wow, that is a 5-minute allotment. Wonder what happened there, just to make sure his car is running prime. As you saw Pieter Visek.
Maybe this will give us some insight here.
All right, so let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Looks like she's got some insight.
Hey guys, I was just talking to Kenji, and Kenji told me that they're switching the nitrous bottle. Kenji, why are you guys switching this?
I'm not sure. I wasn't on the radio, but seems like the pressure is low, and maybe the heater's not working properly, the blanket. So just wanted to make sure that we got fresh.
Okay, Kenji,
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Jared, that's a really interesting move, if true there, knowing that Pieter Visek has a incomplete and Gucci opting to replace the nitrous because of a pressure problem. I don't really think he's completely dependent upon that nitrous to move through the course and maintain drift, so I would hate to see that come back and bite him if they need that competition timeout later. Now, I was just talking to one of the judges over here saying, you know, probably if they were having pressure issues and he really required it because of the size of Gucci's turbo, maybe it is better just to make sure 100%. And so they're kind of going more in your camp, Jared, so there. But they will lose that competition timeout nonetheless. They are giving themselves the biggest insurance policy they can to make sure that they can get through this run without an incomplete.
The final battle here of the Grade 8. As you say, Ryan, it does, you've repeated a few times there in regards to, he does have that incomplete, Pieter Visek. And there is Visick up front as Gushi will chase him down. Interesting turn of events here. James Dean waits. Who's he going against? And here we go. You can see the lights illuminating there in the middle. Who is going against James Dean in the final four? Visick. Or is it going to be Ken Gushi? He has that incomplete on that first portion of the battle. And look at that, Piotr high on the bank. Gushi, so again, it might be crucial that he did change his nitrous bottle, but right now it's not really paying off, Ryan. We do have that incomplete. So Ryan, is this going to be considered potentially an incomplete or basically a sandbag or what's it
inactive
called?
Chase?
Inactive chase, thank you very much.
I don't think so. But let's take a look at it again here. Gushi opting to change that nitrous bottle, make sure that he could contend here. Obviously out front you see Peter Visick. Solid lead run here. Gushi was with him up on the bank. Now coming down, you're going to see Visick start pulling ahead a little bit here. Then establishes a pretty solid gap, probably 6-7 car lengths back. It looks like Gushi is trying to push for it, but who knows how the vehicle is holding up after that competition timeout. And maybe that was the right move with that nitrous, because any further back, you're right, it could have been potentially in that inactive chase category.
Our judges tabulating. Here we go. Looks like we do have a result in for Gushi and Piotr Visick. Here we go, slide him left for Piotr, right for Ken Gushi, Ryan, Andy, and Brian. Brian says one more time.
Wow, that was
Andy says Ken Gushi, and Ryan says Ken Gushi gets the win.
Yeah, so one judge did go inactive chase on that, Jared. So Ken Gushi definitely needs to take that back to his team and really push on those chase runs. He was 6 or 7 car lengths back, and that was enough for one of the judges to give an inactive chase on that, but he was able to secure it from the other two, and that will be a berth into the Final Four and a guaranteed podium, as you said, for Ken Gushi because of the qualification.
All right, so Ken Gushi guaranteed a podium, but he would love to better it. He's going against James Dean, who is riding the wave of success from his championship solidification, but there are high tens all around in that Gretty Performance booth. Smiles with Kenji and the Gretty team. Lorette Nichols down there. Round of applause for the Goosh. And we will advance on into our first battle of the Final Four. Odie Bakshis versus Michael Essen. I love how Lorette says, drifters have the longest memory. He can remember all the way back to Long Beach. And he just brought up this moment. It was just, it all blends together after 16 years, but how, again, they remember every battle.
Well, for them, it's highly individualistic, right?
Yeah.
Their experience going through the weekend, the first-person perspective. For us as the fans, we see tons and tons and tons of runs and tons of drifting. Sometimes it can be a blur, but for them, it's really myopic and singular focus on what's going on during the weekend.
Here we go. Odie will lead. Michael Essa will give chase here in the first battle of the Final Four. The winner going to the finals. Send it. Falcon Tires, field suspension. S14. Michael Essa gets left in the dust as now Odie Bakshis would love to be the only 3-time winner this year. He's the only 2-time. Now in that second outer zone, Odie really dialing it in. Now into that final clip. He punts it out of the way. Definitely that'll be frowned upon.
Well, Odie does get a good jump here. Essa trying to line up right behind him. Unfortunately, he did not get the same kind of jump from initiation that Odie did. Nice high line by Odie Bakshis. Good angle coming off into inside clip number 1. Tremendous job there. Bit of separation here. Here comes Michael Essa trying to close the door on the inner bank. But Odie staying deep there, keeping the speed moving forward. As you mentioned, he did come up a little bit tight on that final inside clip, so one little mistake there, but overall that was a pretty solid lead run. Essa a little bit lackluster in the chase. Didn't really take the fight to Odie Bakshis in that position, but now we'll have an opportunity to try to match his lead.
Essa will now lead. Odie will give chase. Second half of this battle.
Yeah, Jared, just looking at it, if Odie beats Michael Essa here, he will go to the finals, and that would guarantee him 513 points. He would have finished higher than Osbo at this event, and that would mean that because of the tie, he would actually jump up into second place in the points.
And here is Michael Essa. Nah, no response. Yeah, so crazy turn of events here. As all right, it's fine. Here we go. We're moving on. Michael Essa and Odie Bakshis. Michael Essa definitely would like to shake things up, get on top, and here we go. The lights are on. Once they extinguish, they leave that start line. And here we go with Essa out front. And I have a feeling Odie is just gonna be right there. You can see, man, both these guys, left foot breaking through the course. And now, coming through that front clip, you can see Odie, oh boy! The second outer zone playing another role in this scenario. Here we go. Ryan, let's take a look at it again. What went wrong? It seemed like Odie was kind of pedaling back.
Well, Michael Essa fully using the left foot brake, so is Odie Bakshis all the way through that outside zone. Odie trying to not get in the way of Michael Essa. Lead driver obviously has the right of way here, but then Odie gets up on top of the line, similar to Visek, but a little bit later goes into the wall there, and looking like a bit of a miscalculation as Essa flying through that final section of the course. And Odie, it looks like struggling a little bit with the slower vehicle of Essa coming through that center section. We saw both drivers aggressively using that left foot brake up on the bank. And here we go. We see Essa by himself at this point as Odie Bakshis had gone into the wall. Here we go.
Do we have a winner? Slide him left for Essa, right for Odie. Ryan says Essa, as does Andy and Brian. It is unanimous. Michael Essa is going on to the finals. And Odie is knocked out. So, with Ken Gushi being number 2 qualifier. So, Ken Gushi's in the next battle. Ken Gushi going against James Dean. So, Lorette Nickel is with the Goosh now.
Congratulations to Ken Gushi. You took the win, my goodness. The team called a competition timeout. You replaced the nitrous bottle. Did that help or hinder you out there?
I don't know. I think the extra added horsepower kind of hindered me because I was actually giving it my best, all that I could in the chase, and he still smoked me in the run. But he had a massive error in the first run where he, I guess, hit the wall behind me. So that gave me the win. But I gotta say, I got really lucky on that one. But massive thanks to my crew for keeping the car together because without them, honestly, it wouldn't have happened.
Ken, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Ryan, the second half of this Permatex top 4. Ken Gushi versus James Dean. Michael Essa already in the finals. Ryan, taking a look at Essa's path here. Essa, Sebastian Gauthier, one more time. JTP, Justin Pollock had to retire. And then Essa versus Gittin. But Essa's already in the finals. Let's go ahead and throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette, what do you got?
Hey guys, Michael Essa right next to me. Unbelievable, taking a deep breath. Essa, you are in the finals.
This is amazing. I mean, we started off the weekend on Thursday with some crazy misfire, and I didn't get one clean run. We didn't know if the engine was blown or hurt, and we were about to borrow somebody else's car, my spotter Sean, and we threw a bunch of parts at it, and it worked. And now we're here in the finals. It is insane out there. I mean, what a weekend.
Congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Jared.
Thank you, Lorette, as here we are in the second half of that Final Four. Man, Ryan, interesting event. Any big stand-up moments for you? I mean, like James said, he's like, what, championship? I'm just gonna do some donuts here and celebrate. I mean, I don't think they're not canned responses. They're very genuine. Like, I can't believe it. I don't know what to say, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty unpredictable so far. I mean, really, the driver that has been the most reliable has been James Dean, and we saw him even struggle to get to where he is, though he's still in competition. Odie going out in what looked like a pretty much an easy win for him against Michael Essa, and kind of struggling with the slower car of Essa. We heard from Essa that his car, he didn't know if the motor was blown. He doesn't really know if the car is going to perform properly, and that is going to be a big question as we find out who is going to be facing him in the finals, whether it's going to be Ken Gucci or James Dean.
Right. Seeing Odie and his technicians work on that vehicle, you can see that bash bar pushing everything into that back end of that car. And we talked about it earlier, Ryan, just about everybody's just going to leave it on track, and that has been the case tonight. We've seen a lot of carnage, a lot of, the tow trucks being utilized multiple times.
Yeah, and the championship order, even with Dean taking the win, has not changed too much, but we did see Odie Bakshi get as far as he did, moving into third place in the overall point spread. Would have got up into second had he won that battle, and that was right there in front of him to potentially take. But we will focus on the event at hand here with Ken Gucci going up against James Dean to find out who's going to be going into the finals against Michael Essa.
So what you're saying is James Dean finishes out the championship in first place, Osbo second, Odie Bakshi's in third.
That's correct.
All right. Here we go. Second half of this Final Four. Who's going against Michael Essa in the finals? Gucci's guaranteed a podium, but he'd like to take it even a step further in either first or second. Ken Gucci, James Dean. Ken Gucci out of the gate in that Toyota 86. Throws it in, big angle from him, high on the bank. James Dean corrects, straightens out, finds the proximity, but way down on the bank. Ken Gucci saying he didn't give it at all in his chase run, but now he is really putting it down as James Dean massages that car to the side of that Toyota 86. Ryan, Ken Gucci in the lead position is nearly unstoppable. I mean, he qualified second. Here he is, but when it comes down to the chase run, a little stroke out there.
So let's take a look at it. He really hasn't been able to correct that big bank just yet. Gucci out front. Dean gave him a little bit of room this time, which I think is a smart move. But look at this, the reduction in angle coming down below. Gucci coming off, transitioning here. Nice job by Gucci, and then really on the inside here. The big mistake, that one right there, a reduction in angle by James Dean in the chase. He's still got good proximity here, and this is an opportunity for Ken Gucci. As you see, James also falls off that final outside zone. So, but I think the one thing that's coming into play here is Gucci mentioned in his interview that the nitrous was almost too much power for him, but yet there was a big gap established by Visek in their runs, and that is very similar cars. So you have to wonder, does Gucci really have the grip to hang with James Dean? We saw James's chase run, we saw him surge, we saw him make a couple mistakes, we saw Gucci's lead run, pretty phenomenal. We know James can do that. So I think a lot of the attention is going to be focusing on how Ken Gucci does in the chase here.
James Dean getting poised, going against Ken Gucci. A lot of smoke here on track. Vision is critical. So as we wait for the smoke to dissipate for this battle, are we going to get a winner? If so, they'll get some fresh tires, and they will be going against Michael Essa. Third place is dictated by the higher qualifying driver, and both James Dean and Ken Gucci out-qualify Odie Bakshi. So Odie Bakshi's, unfortunately, a podium finish escapes him. So either Dean or Gucci will get third place, and we'll find out. Here we go, send it. James Dean out front. Ken Gucci in the chase position. There you go, Ryan, you're talking about, does he have enough? Does he have that grip on deck? And you know what, he heard you. James Dean, great angle. Ken Gucci a lot higher than James Dean on his chase run. Now coming to that second outer zone, we saw a lot of carnage there, but no, both of them come out, and there's Ken Gucci. A around that final front clip. He does punt that final front clip out of the way, but OG in Ken Gushi, the crowd erupts here at the House of Drift, Ryan.
You could see from that big fireball coming from Ken's car, he was pushing 100%. Super close to Dean on initiation, trying to keep the pressure, a little bit of wavering there. Dean, great job on that outside zone. Now coming down into this section through that inside clip. Gushi starting to pour on the pressure. James Dean, beautiful job in the second outside zone. Here comes Gushi, just falling off the line for a second, but keeping the pressure on tight through that inside clip. Almost center punches it, but a great overall competitive battle. And you have to think that really, Jared, it's going to be the comparison of those chase runs. Who did a better chase? Was it James Dean or was it Ken Gushi?
And do we have a winner? Slide him left for Dean, right for Ken Gushi. Ryan, Andy, and Brian say, who's going to the finals? Are we going one more time? Ryan says Ken Gushi, Andy, and Brian. Ken Gushi is going to the finals. The finals are set. James Dean, with that loss, gets third place, but of course, as we know, gets the 2019 championship. As Michael Essa and Ken Gushi are in the finals. The stage is set. Who's coming out on top? Essa and his Essa Autosports, Achilles Tire BMW, or Ken Gushi and his Greddy Performance Toyota Racing Toyota 86 on Achilles Tires. We'll take a commercial break as they throw some fuel in the tank, get their head right, and some rubber out back. When we come back, literally the final fight of the AutoZone title fight presented by Rain-X is upon us.
We are back here at the AutoZone title fight presented by Rain-X. Season 16 coming to an end of the Formula Drift Black Magic Championship. It is Michael Essa and Ken Gushi in the finals. Lorette Nickel caught up with Ken Gushi, who just took out James Dean.
He jumped out of his car and just yells, wow, unbelievable job by Ken Gushi.
Oh my God.
My goodness. I heard you say that you couldn't have pushed any harder in that battle.
Yeah, there was no way I could do any better than that on my lead, but I'm going to have to do it again against my Achilles teammate, Michael Essa. But looking back at the run, my spotter was just like, you know, you're just going to have to give it 110%. I think I went beyond that because I don't even remember any of the runs. To be honest with you, the next thing I knew, I was at the finish line. They were pointing their fingers at me as if I was the winner, so holy cow. I mean, the first battle against Peter was pure luck, but this one I feel like I just really fought for it, and if I had lost with just, you know, mediocre runs, I would have been really upset, so I just had to give it my all, and that's exactly what I did. I'm so happy for my team, and Achilles is a 1-2 finish. I can't believe this. It's the best way I could have ever imagined to finish out the season.
And you guys are dialing in the grip, so talk about that.
Actually, we're adding grip now, dropping tire pressures because we just want to go faster and whoop ass.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, thank you so much, Lorette. Man, Gushi, you could just feel his excitement, absolute enthusiasm for just getting there. And you got to think that is motivation, that just the momentum coming off of that victory. He's going against Essa, which I have to think Essa got some lucky breaks there. I mean, you know, breaks meaning JTP going out, you know, him and getting just some things unfolded and transpired there. I mean, it looked like JTP, you know, after that first portion of that battle, he had that advantage, but he had to retire. Overheating, couldn't cool it down, didn't make it. So there's Essa. Regardless of what's happened in the future, it's the now, it's the present. So Ken Gushi and Michael Essa will go against each other. See double thumbs up there. Both these guys flying that Boost Brigade flag. And now, see Ken Gushi up there, qualifying second. Michael Essa, he qualified, what was it, earlier today, he qualified 12th. But yeah, so it's Essa, Gushi, James Dean gets that third place spot.
Unbelievable. I mean, how would you have predicted this?
No.
I mean, it was leaning towards a direction of the championship of Dean, and we saw that get confirmed relatively early with Osbo going out. I would have not have imagined that Visek and Dean would have struggled so much this event in their chase runs, and it's allowed Ken Gushi to really turn it on, who has really been accurate and consistent the whole weekend.
Right.
And his lead runs have given him a real strong advantage. And it looks like that NOS bottle being changed out ended up paying dividends for them They find themselves in the finals against Michael Essa, and you have to really wonder how this battle is going to go down. We see both of these guys getting ready to warm up their tires, and because this event has been so hard to predict, really hard to say what's going to happen here. But one thing we know for sure, I think Ken Gushi is still locked in to driving those really solid, clean lead runs, and he's going to be able to do that. The question is Michael Essa's car going to hold up? And how will Gushi fare in that chase run? If he did what he did against Dean, this could be a win for Ken Gushi.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. He's gonna really need to just put it all out there, and I think it's really gonna come down to the chase run, because just keeping that composure and how he can do it. But Achilles Tire, they're 1 and 2, and then Falcon Tire, but also in the championship, you know, you have a all Falcon Tire championship podium. Dean, or excuse me, why did I say that? Dean, he's got the Falcon Tires. Osbo, obviously he's on Nexon, and then Odi Bakshis, he's on Falcon Tires. So I apologize. That was if Piotr Visic got that second. So Achilles, Falcon, some variety in the mix, and warming up those Achilles tires is Michael Essa. As here you go. This is it. The AutoZone title fight presented by Rain-X. The final battle of the 2019 Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship season. Make some noise, Irwindale. Stomp your feet for those that are around. All right, those closest to the bank. Those closest to the bank, the big bank outside zone 1. Let's get a wave going on 3. Closest to the bank on 3, stand up. Closest to the big bank outside zone on 3, stand up. 1, 2, 3, go. Send it, come on. Work its way across the bleachers, going all the way into second outside zone. And we are clear to start. And here we go. The final battle is here. Send it, Gushi and Essa. An all Achilles tire final. Gushi throws it in. Smoke permeating from the pores. Nice job by Gushi. Essa showing up in grand fashion. Now into the second outers. Oh, buddy! Essa throws it in. And now Gushi approaching that final front clip. To be honest, what Essa did right there, we have not seen previously in this night, Ryan.
He did a nice little magic prayer on the vehicle after that one. That was a pretty solid chase run by Michael Essa, especially going in outside zone 2. Gushi once again showing really strong control in the lead. Beautiful run right up against the wall. Coming off the big bank, transitioning down to that inside clip, pretty tight there. Michael Essa surging forward, having to brake, not to hit Ken Gushi. You can see he had to unwind a little bit of angle there, but he got in the pocket. Gushi coming off that outside zone. Here comes Essa through that final inside clip. Essa will just fall off just for a second there, but a very competitive run between Ken Gushi and Michael Essa pretty much all the way through. And with Essa diving in there, made it real exciting on that second outside zone. So now, Jared, let's switch things up. Ken Gushi chasing down Michael Essa for the finals.
All right, Michael Essa now up front. Ken Gushi in that chase position. Are we gonna get a clear-cut victor? Are we going one more time? Man, Ryan, just overall, thank you so much for a fantastic season. And just all the Formula Drift staff has been tremendous. We've made some history this year in just different ways, but it's always a pleasure working with you, and it's always a good time, man.
It's been my pleasure, Jared, and happy birthday to you. It's been an incredible season, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. It's really, really hard to manage and run this sport, but it's all worth it, and seeing these drivers go out there and put on a show for the fans is something that makes us really happy.
Yeah, for sure, and just the whole Formula Drift family, from the staff to all the sponsors to, of course, the drivers, but the technicians, but overall, you know, Ken Gushi, just seeing him, it's been quite some time since Ken Gushi has won an event, So we'd love to see that. And Michael S., I'm trying to recount, last time we've seen him all the way at the top of the box as well.
Essa's, I mean, for Gucci, it's got to be back 2006 maybe.
Yeah.
In his old vehicle, way back in the day, different manufacturer.
Yeah.
And for Michael Essa, obviously that championship in 2012. So it has been a while for these guys to get that last standing box.
There you go, lighten it up. Turn on your cell phone lights for the finals. Light up the night. Larry Chen, there's your photo, buddy. Smoke is definitely thick, so we need everybody to blow as hard as possible to clear out the smoke as well. Local time, just about 9:30, and we are ready to send it. Stomp your feet, here we go, make some noise. The earthquake here at Irwindale. Michael Essa, Ken Gucci, send it, Irwindale. Essa Motorsports, Keeley Sire, BMW throws it into the big bank. Whoa, Dr. Ken Gucci throws it in. Contact was made, but Houston, we do not have a problem. Transition past that inside front clip. Ken Gucci straightens out. Bulks up, chokes. Oh, and Essa spins! Essa spins in the second outer zone.
A very aggressive Gucci, and potentially, I mean, that is a lot of smoke.
Can't even see him. Oh, there's Gucci.
Michael Essa is buried in a plume of smoke, and it looks like at first pass that Michael Essa may have over-rotated in that second outside bank. The team of Ken Gucci seems to think so, but we got to go to the replay. But for the moment, Michael Essa is buried in a cloud of smoke. Gucci out of the gate, very aggressive, dives in against Michael Essa, taps him right there. Essa stays in it, so does Gucci. Gucci coming up again, a little bit less angle there. Michael Essa, left foot braking, coming down off the bank, transitioning here, trying to attack his Gucci. He backs off for a second. Essa into the bank, big angle from Essa, and it looks like it was
independent.
An independent spin from Michael Essa into the lower bank. An unbelievable way to possibly close things off as these two warriors are battling it out in their very fatigued vehicles right in front of the fans down there. Look at the reaction from all these guys.
They're
unbelievable.
Right there. They're on the glass like at a hockey game, pound on the glass. There's Kenji, who is president of Gretty Performance, and look at him climbing the fence to see what happened here. He's feeling it. He's hyped. So Ken Gucci, again, the judge is assessing, is it independent? Contact was made. Essa stayed in it. Ken Gucci, he did. The question here is that an incomplete run on Ken Gucci's behalf as well? You see him kind of choke up there on that transition. Essa spins out. It's just a very difficult run to call, but some great driving by both the drivers, Michael Essa, Ken Gucci, and some nitrous being sprayed there by Ken Gucci. Is that celebratory? Just cleaning the pipes. Where are my Michael Essa fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Ken Gucci fans at? Wow. Ken Gucci getting an electric and astounding response from the fans here at Irwindale. And it looks like we do have a winner. We do have a winner. We'll bring our final three finishers, our podium finishers, right here in front of the stands. Remember, we invite you to join us out there on track. You can see the podium in the middle of the track. Come join us. Go ahead and basically you can see to the right near the second outer zone. We'll open up the track, so you're gonna make your way down there. You wrap it around, so you go around and make your way towards the Toyota activation, and you are invited to be down there on track for the podium ceremony. So now let's look at the championship history as we get our final podium finishers, and there it is, James Dean, three-peat, 2017, 18, and 19. 16 years of the Formula Drift Championship comes to an end. And here comes your champion, third place finisher, Thanks, Justin Shreve. Thank you to, again, all the Formula Drift staff. I personally want to thank everybody for the happy birthday wishes. It's been great to spend it all with you and my family being here as well. But James Dean, celebratory burnout by the machine. Not for the 3rd place, but for the overall championship. A happy belated birthday there to James Dean as well. He celebrated just a few days ago as well. And there are your final 3 podium finishers. All right, so we will announce the winners, and then we will go down on track to give out the trophies. All right, without further ado,
We're down here.
let's go ahead and announce our podium finishers. In 3rd place, and also your first ever 3-peat champion, 2017, 2018, and now 2019 Formula Drift champ, and 3rd place here at Irwindale, the House of Drift, and the Wordhouse Drift Team, Falcon Tires, S13, it is James the Machine Dean! And now your winner here at the AutoZone title fight presented by Rain-X. It's been a long time coming. And here at this iconic track that is the House of Drift, the champion was crowned, making history for the first ever 3-peat. But winning here at this track, it's an Achilles 1 and 2 with Falcon rounding out the podium. Your winner at the House of Drift 2019. The final round of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. The AutoZone title fight presented by Rain-X. The winner is Ken Gucci, unanimously gets the win in the Gretty Performance Toyota Racing. Toyota 86, the OG original Gucci, Kenshiro Gucci, gets the win after a cold spell of nearly 10 years. Ken Gucci gets the victory and emotions take over. Throw up the dub, the West Coast. Sherilyn of Achilles. That means second place here in the ESSA Autosports BMW on Achilles tires. Make some noise for the BMW pilot. That is Michael Essa. Second place here at Irwindale. Ken Gucci first place, Michael Essa second, and finally James Dean third place and your champion. Lorette Nickel, you're down with the crybaby himself as he gets hoisted above. There you go, the Gretty and Toyota Racing team takes it to the top. Lorette Nickel, down to you. What's going on down there?
An unbelievable celebration for Ken Gucci. Ken Gucci overwhelmed with emotion because it has been since 2005 that you've been looking for a win. Ken Gucci, I am so proud for you. This is an incredible moment.
Yeah, 2005 that's a long time ago. I mean, I almost forgot what this felt like, but holy cow. I mean, I gotta give it to all my fans. You guys have stuck through it all my career. My team was amazing tonight, and if it wasn't for them, it would not have happened. And my mom. So, thank you.
Ken, unbelievable job. You just found so much consistency tonight. What was it?
You know, I'll be honest with you, it was my team. They just kept me in shape at run after run, and I had a lucky call with Peter. But you know what, my dad's always told me that luck was a part of skill, so I'll take it as a win. Yeah, I can't believe it. This is just all a blur for me, but this is one hell of a ending to a very, very challenging year.
Ken Gushi, there's been so many people that have been cheering for you since the very beginning. Take all of this in, because this is all for you. Best of luck. I want you to take in this moment, but think about 2020. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Jared.
Thank you, Laurent Nickel, and man, Ken Gushi, you gotta love it. Ryan, I mean, I think secretly everybody was pulling for him. You could see Michael Essa saying, "It's all you, bud, it's all you." So your thoughts, man?
Yeah, that definitely hit a heartstring for me as well, just seeing him overwhelmed by emotion, knowing that how much that meant to him in his life and what he's gone through this year and this season. And that was a surprise, let's be honest. But he's committed to what he needed to do this weekend. Number 2 in qualifying, pushed all the way through, and delivered when he needed to deliver and got to battle his teammate in the finals. An incredible way to end the season. Congratulations to Ken Gushi, Michael Essa, and James Dean.
Right on. Thank you, Formula Drift fans. We'll see you in Long Beach, or will we? Find out at formuladr.com. Announcements coming ideally at SEMA Show 2019 in Las Vegas, the first part of November. On behalf of the whole Formula Drift staff, Laurent Nickel, Ryan Sage, thank you so much. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, and of course, thank you for an amazing 2019 Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship season. We'll see you in Long Beach. Send it, we'll see you online, and we'll see you another time. My name is Jared Dienda. Peace.